Yep.
You ever let her check it out, man, when I went live with my wife?
Yeah, she watched it, but she still, you know, like apprehension. Your wife, she still got it. It wasn't. You know?
Yeah, mine went on ahead and got it. Let me see. Let me go over here. It might done went live. Let me see.
We live.
Okay. Let me go ahead and play this song.
From the ashes. Negro, I'm young, black, and ambitious. Top of your missus, wishless. I got her blowing kisses, making late night causing visits. Getting with no handouts. Why they got their hand out? They don't understand me, and that's because I stand out. I'm the man now. Hey, can't you tell? But that's a nigga. I can sell a furnace to a man and half. I told my ex, sit back, take this L, drop the past in the coffin. You was just another nail. Y'all ain't looking too well. Y'all looking dry, weak and pale. Said you got bars like a prison cell. Well, my ears posting bail. I got them sick to their stomach, and I just kept it 100. They sound fake and unwanted. Album sound underfunded. Okay, they claim that they run it when it sound like they walking. If you ain't talking about hundreds, then why the hell are you talking? Bitch, I'm all about that green. I love a queen. Get it to my dreams. Martin Luther King, Malcolm X by any means. Next big thing on the big screen. Get my team 6 rings. Jordan off the picking screen. Young ambitious with big dreams. You looking at it, young black king. Bitch, I'm young, black, and ambitious. Hustling to get these riches. Young, black, and ambitious. Hustling to get these riches. Fuck you mean, shawty, fuck you mean. Yo, you looking at it, young black king.
Astro project, blast of a tech. Pass your neck with the shit to leave a rapper and wrecks from the back of a black Acura. Bullet ricocheted and it swayed and it passed through your pecs. The assassin went. All y'all know y'all don't have it go. Sawed off shoddy, make you potty, probably call the law. Me no gangster, I'm no tough, got me child of the most high. I get on the mic and you go, bye-bye. Devil don't test me, I throw shrapnel where your chest be. Shooting our family down in the streets, fuck the police, they ain't marching for me. Pull up, not that Rari, I ain't bad yet. I pull up out there. 85% of mass at. I put this on God. Bad black is so hard. Bitch, I'm going back to Harlem in my West African garb. What the fuck? I gotta toughen up so I can find a pump for me to bludgeon up. If you study, know it's gonna be bloody. Got a billion ways for them to lock you up. Educate and anticipate. This whole planet they decimate. Young man's better make bands better. Our ancestors like SMH. Back on this king shit. Nessu Biddy Mogul Naba got a proper title kingship. I conquer many. Mama give me cups of Henny. I'm a shot the Henny rings lit. And I don't fuck with Molly or that lean. I just lay up with my young black queens.
Young, black, and ambitious. Hustling to get these riches. Young, black, and ambitious. Hustling to get these riches. Fuck you mean, shawty, fuck you mean. You looking at a young black king.
All right. Peace, and black African power. I want to say ETM Hotel, Dua Aku, Dua Netcha, Fatmu Alafie, Fatmu Iwi, Majuba Iba Ie Gungun, Majuba Iba Ie Gungun, Majuba Iba Ie Lakba, Majuba Iba Ie Lakba. I always want to give honor and praises to the ancestors because without the ancestors, we wouldn't be here. We are our ancestors. I also want to extend, honor and praises to the true and living elders. According to an African worldview and from an African perspective. Y'all, please share the show. Please share the show. I think y'all gonna enjoy this bill with me and Brother Chefreen, man. I'll digress for a minute, man. Before we get ready to get in the bill, I'll go through my list bill with the new Independent African Academy, and then we'll jump straight into the bill. You got something, Chef, before?
No. Open the show up, and then you can introduce me. Go ahead, do your thing.
Okay then. Well, yeah, let's get it in real quick. Let me go to my new scene. All right, let me blow it up too, cause I'm blind as a bat. All right, So again, like I said, this is the new Independent African Academy over here. This is something different than that other place over there. This place over here is a safe place. This place is it has codes and conduct. It has mandates. It has goals that we are trying to achieve. So I said every show I would do, I would always read the codes of conduct, the mandates, and the goals that we are trying to achieve in the new Independent African Academy. All right, let me go to page 1. It says never talk down on another NII member in public. Number 2, no pseudo. Number 3, methods and methodologies must be followed. Teach those that are ready and willing to learn. Support the members. Number 6, disagreements handled in private. Number 7, no one is above correction. Number 8, we must stand for Black Africans, the descendants, and the diasporas. Number 9, zero tolerance for dishonesty. Number 10, Iwariri, for people that may not know what Iwariri is, that is good character. No selfless acts. Number 12, no scamming. Number 13, no pedophilia. Number 14, no disrespecting Black women. Number 15, race first. Number 16, supporting Black businesses. 17, integrity. Number 18, must possess the will to learn. Number 19, each one teach one, or as I would like to say, you see, as I learn, we all learn, the phrase that I use, that we all use on this platform. All right. The goals that we are trying to achieve in the new Independent African Academy is produce more authors, producing exceptional men and women, institution for learning, entrepreneurship, scientific literacy, scholarships for the youth, long-lasting marriages, creating rites of passage, unification, multiple support systems. And some of these goals that you see, that these goals that we have, and even some of the mandates, you will actually see that in the first conscious community. We're going to talk about the first conscious community. And then we'll talk about the second conscious community. We're going to compare the two, the first conscious community to the second conscious community. All right. Again, if you supporting us and you want to be a part of the new Independent African Academy, you know what I'm saying, just hit us up, man. And again, if you rocking with us, go to our Family Connect, our Inboca Family Connect Apparel online store and get your new Independent African Academy t-shirts. And if you want, as I learned, we all learn, hats and shirts that I got on, and you feeling that, also you can go get that from off of the platform, off of the apparel company as well. Also go get my book I published a few months ago, Beautiful Lessons about Kimoyo. So if you want to understand what y'all call African spirituality, African religion, African traditional religion, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, I have a contention between both of them words. I talk about that in chapter 1. You will see why I have contention with both of those words. But we trying to change it to Kimoyo. It fits the tradition better. It describes the tradition better. So if you want to learn the different elements about Kimoyo, what y'all call an African traditional religion or African spirituality, and we're going to talk about African traditional religion, matter of fact, go get this book. I'm telling you, I guarantee it's full of information, and you definitely will like the book. So go purchase that as well. Also go get Spearmaster, Historical Survey in the Minds of African Warrior Scholars, Volume 4. This is our 4th installment. We put this out almost a month ago. Appreciate the people who's been supporting and purchasing this book as well. Guaranteed it's another great read from different perspectives. Also go get Sean's book, What Sars COVID Taught Me, as well. He just recently put it out 2 weeks ago. Well, actually the official date was Friday, but he started pre-ordering the books about 2 weeks ago. So appreciate people that's been supporting that book. And a lot of people have been supporting the book. I'm telling you, they've been supporting the book, man. So go get those. They are all available on Same Tree Different Branch Publishing, our publishing company. So I got another, I'm gonna stop saying guest because I rock with dude over here. You know what I'm saying? So and he's a extension. We all extension off a different tree. We're all connected by one individual that y'all may know. That is Brother Unc West has connected all of us. So I wouldn't even say a guest, but I wanted to welcome back my brother Chefreen, who's a member of the Pseudo Killers. Before we get it in, brother, you got anything, man? Or you want to introduce yourself to people that may not even know who Chefreen is?
Oh, well, I think everybody know me. Everybody in the chat definitely know me. We chop it up all the time. Most of the people in the chat frequent both channels, yours and ours. So, you know, we share a lot of the same audience. So peace to everybody. I appreciate Kofi hitting me up for this build. You know, it's something that I definitely it's something that I'm definitely you know, passionate about. So, you know, I'm glad to add my 2 cents, and I hope I can you know, enlighten y'all on anything that I got that y'all probably wasn't privy to. So we can get it in.
No doubt, no doubt. So I'm gonna just say how we actually came to this point, and then we're gonna get it in because, and again, the name of this is "Did Christians and Muslims contribute to the conscious community?" And the people that, you know, I'm kind of talking to, or we talking to. I was one of those people at one point of time, and I interviewed Chefreen, and like some of the things that he said to me, man, it kind of hit home with me. But I kind of way got out of the space than what a lot of people in who attack these institutions. But I needed to start doing more, implementing more with my family, even though I don't agree with their perspective. But you know, I do understand that institution that they are part of is actually making some of these guys and some of these women better people. So, you know, it's a lot of people in the conscious community who attack these institutions, far as Christianity, far as the Muslim sects, and a lot of people is not informed on, everybody is informed on what the conscious community actually developed into. So, and we're trying to go back to the standard as what the first conscious community was. I talk about the first conscious community. So, hold on, let me see something too. Y'all, hold on, let me see. And am my volume good? Y'all, my volume good out there?
Good, you sound good.
All right. So anyway, so a lot of people, and it's a lot of new people that are actually coming in. You got older heads that's coming in too, that is actually attacking these people or don't want to be associated with the people because we coming out of this Western religion mindset. So we begin to attack the churches, we begin to attack the mosques, and we begin to attack those people who are actually associated with these institutions. So, and we run to what we're calling, or what they're calling now, the conscious community, right? So a lot of people don't understand that the conscious community was developed out of Christian ministers, people who was a part of Christians, and then it actually went on and started to get its more development into the Muslims, into the Muslim sects. You started, and I know Chef, I'm gonna go in on that, and I'm gonna go in on the other ones because I want to show and prove what we're talking about, that the first conscious community, or what we call the conscious community, those people that had those standards, those guys was Black ministers, and those women were people who actually came into those Black women who actually was educated through the churches. And I'm gonna talk about that, which people ought to know a little bit about how this this missionary group, which I'm going to talk about. I'm going to close my slides and talk about some of this missionary group, and where did this talent attend, which I kind of already elaborate, where did this talent attend ideology comes from, or where W.D. Du Bois and the American Negro Academy and the New Independent African Academy start to get their example from. So I'll go first, Chef, if you want me to go first, man, and then like you can go, and then we can kind of build off for each other. You can stop in between, man, if you got a question or you want to add on, man. Just stop me, man.
Yeah, I'm gonna roll with you. You can go ahead.
All right, bet.
Already.
So let me share my. Go ahead.
And you definitely have that. Like a lot of times when you go in, you definitely have that preacher vibe. So is, you know what I mean? Maybe because you're from Mississippi, I don't know, and that's the Bible Belt, but you definitely got that whole flow with you. But go ahead.
Yeah, man. I'm they say I'm a preacher, man. They say I'm a preacher, but my father, man, he's a preacher, man. And by the way, Chef, man, before I share my screen too, man, I told you I reached out to my dad, man, after that conversation. We was already cool, but I said I wasn't doing a whole lot with my dad. So I went and hung out with my dad, man. We chilled out Saturday, and then we went and ate. And by the way, I want to show people this too, man, because he actually, even though he's a minister and he's a preacher, he also is doing exactly what those people I'm going to talk about in the first conscious community who actually started this movement of what we call in the conscious community. And these Black ministers was actually scholars, these Black men, and one of the standards was publications. It was creating not only excellent men and women and producing leaders, multiple leaders, not one leader, but multiple leaders. And these guys with this high intellect going back into the community is what the conscious community is doing and teaching. You know what I'm saying? This is in teaching, but they was also writing and producing these publications, which was one of the mandates from the development of the conscious community going into the American Negro Academy, or the African Academy, which later became the American Negro Academy. So let me show my screen. I told my dad I was going to show his publication. So he's a writer too, a small book, but I mean, he's writing and definitely planning on putting something else out. Let me switch my camera so I can show everybody and get a full shot. Let me see. All right. So if y'all can see this is my dad's book. The me I see is the me I'll be, the understanding of identity. So my dad is a Black minister, a Baptist preacher, and he also has a publication out as well. And it's something that I think everybody can relate to, whether you are a Christian or not. It's just some life lessons, some things that he went through, and some things that most people can relate to, man. So, and I don't know if he got any more out, man, but I'm gonna see if I got some more out. If anybody want to support, because I know he's out on his website, y'all can go cop that. But he's actually doing what the first conscious community was doing for us, those Black ministers, and that was also producing publications. You know what I'm saying? Producing literature. Let me share my screen. Hey, let me go back over here. Yeah, hold on one second. All right, there you go. Let me go to it. Find it. All right. Let's see. Is my screen sharing, Shell? Camera. Okay, hold on. Let me see. Desktop. Share desktop.
Where do you add the slides at? Oh,
it's in my PowerPoint.
Okay, here it comes. It's coming up.
Y'all see it now?
No, it ain't come all the way up yet.
I see it on my end, but
it's not on the Zoom screen. Yeah, they're saying Kofi has started screen sharing, but the image ain't pop up yet.
All right, hold on, y'all. Let me stop, and I'll come back out of it. Shit here. Hold on, y'all. Let me go out there. My thing is, all right, let me go back. I'm gonna go back in one more time. Maybe.
All right, go ahead. Go ahead. So let me say this while you figuring it out.
All right.
Now, the same way Kofi was just talking about how his father has a publication, right? Kofi doing the same thing his father doing. His father just in, a different tradition than him. But we all African. Is up now, Kofi. It look good. Yeah, you up and rolling. You can go ahead.
Oh, I don't want to stop your bill, man. If you had something, man, shoot.
Yeah, so you can see a lot of the stuff. Like you'll think that what's in your parents is actually in you, because you be doing the same things your father doing, but he just a Christian preacher, right? You go live, you speak to the people every week. You get that shit from somewhere. You dig what I'm saying? Like your father got a publication out. Look how passionate you is about getting these publications in this literature out. See, we get it from somewhere. Like it don't matter what tradition, Black people find themselves in. We all Black people, right? It's just like, if you look at Africa, you talk about the diversity of Africa, right? It's all types of spiritual systems, religions, and everything else in Africa, right? So we just exhibit the same things. That's it. Like, so we get so bullheaded about the traditions we in. And I know for the most part, we shoot at Islam a lot in this new conscious community, right? But if you look back right before, at the time that we was taken from Africa, right? That was at the end of great African Islamic empires, right? That was Africans had their last golden age under Islam. Like and there's no denying that, right? If you look at the three great Muslim empires of West Africa, Songhai, Mali, and what's the other one? Songhai, Ghana, and Mali.
Yeah,
right?
those three.
Right.
Yep.
Those three right there was Muslim empires, right? So, and look at the scholarship that was produced, right? The literature that was produced. And these people were Muslim and they was African at the same time. We don't chuck that part of African history away because those people was Muslim, right? That would be crazy to do that. To say, okay, that wasn't a good part of African history because those people were Muslims. Nah, they had great empires and they was Muslim at the same time. They were conscious. So it's crazy where we ended up now, right? And then you can go to great African Christian kings, right? And different things like that. So it would be crazy for us to now say that people that's currently in those traditions are useless to us and didn't participate in our development. So I'll let you go ahead and start.
All right. And everything said, are y'all suggesting that the first conscious community was born out of pseudo-Muslims / Christians advocates? So let's find out. Let's find out. And that's what I'm saying. A lot of us don't understand the history. When we go back and look at the late 19th, early 20th century, where did you think that push of intellectual information come from? Where did you think that those intellectuals, the same thing that people doing in the conscious community now, is taking that information and then going back and spreading it off into the community, trying to share what they know with the people to uplift the people? So let's just get into it, man. But yes, that's what I'm talking about. That's definitely what I'm talking about. Let me blow this up. But again, like I said, did the Christians and the Muslims contribute to the conscious community? I'm definitely going to say yes, they definitely made major contributions to the conscious community. They actually build the foundation for the conscious community. They actually was the first conscious community, you know, and I say what we got now is the second conscious community. When you you start looking around 1995, that's when a lot of the pseudos come in, and the pseudoisms actually start to take place or start to come in with it. We will get into some of those pseudos. I talk about some of those pseudos, but you start to see that around 1995 with the pseudoisms. People making up sources. The sources is no longer needed. The high standard is no longer there. But let's get into it. Let's get into it, man. Let me go to the slide. So this is what I wrote right here before we get started, man. There are new people daily is turning to what I call the second conscious community, who have left the churches, the mosques, and despise those religious institutions and people who continue to participate in those religious institutions. Because of their ignorance, the very community that they are running to, were formed the Black Christians, the Black ministers, and American Baptist Home Missionary Society. So this institution that we were running to, like I said, the foundation was built on the backs of the Black Christian Church, the Black ministers, and the American Baptist Home Missionary Society. Coming out of slavery, right? If you go to look and they're coming out of slavery during the 19th century, right? We know that the literacy rate was very, very low coming out of slavery because, again, it was illegal for Blacks in America to read and write. So it was illegal for them. So coming out of slavery, the literacy rate was low. So there you have this group called the American Baptist Home Missionary Society. And this was a group of people. They was coming out of London and other places, and they believed in education, right? And they wanted to help those who was coming out of slavery. And they come up with this term called the Talented 10. Everybody want to credit W.E.B. Du Bois. W.B. Du Bois championed that term, the Talented 10. And that Talented 10, that ideology is speaking on what I'm talking about, what the first conscious community was actually developed out of, and it was education. It was making individuals intellectuals. They believed that pushing education would further the Black community. Dr. W.E.B. Du Bois talk about this in his essay called The Talented 10. He talk about high education or a civil or classic education will bring Black folks in this country out of the detriment that they in. So they push intellectuals. So they come up with mandates about writing books, writing publications, those who got privy to go into those college institutions, which was formed, 27 of the HBCUs was born out of the American Baptist Home Missionary Societies. Again, the historical Black colleges that we all are running to was created by white people and those who contributed, those Black ministers who contributed, who was actually educated in the basements of these churches. They was educated in the basement of these churches, right? So what is the American Baptist Home Society? The American Baptist Home Missionary Society is a Christian missionary society. It maintains predecessors of home missionary societies, was established in the New York City in 1831 to operate in the American frontier, with the stated mission to preach the gospel, establish churches, and give support in ministry to the unchurched and destitute. Immediately following the American Civil Wars, the society worked with the freedoms of establishing 27 historical Black colleges. Former slaves were eager for education after being blocked for it for a long time. So we're talking about people coming out of slavery, right? And it's 18, we know when slavery ended. This here, it was formed in 1832. So this missionary group wanted to educate those who was coming out of slavery because the literacy rate was low, because it was illegal for Black people in this country to read and write. So they wanted to help these people establish an education and build institutions where they can be they can operate on their own. In 1862, in the midst of the Civil War, the ABHMS pledged to provide emancipation slaves with Christianity instructions. In its report in 1865, the ABHM designated the training of Black men for ministers as the most direct, accessible, effective way of teaching the mass of colored people. In less than a decade, the society broadened its goals and including college trainings for the Black women. So they started out first with the men. This is then you start, they come up with this phrase or this term, talented 10, and surrounding the term, this ideology. Because if you look at Morehouse adopted this ideology from the American Baptist Home Missionary Society, which was championed and popularized by W.E.B. Du Bois, right? So, and these are some of my sources right here too. I'm gonna put up sources so you ain't got to believe me. You can go through and you can check these things out. You can buy the books, you can look at the articles, you can do whatever you need to do. There are some individuals and groups who are associated and disassociated with the second conscious community who use the word talented 10. W.E. Du Bois popularized and puts this ideology term in the talented 10. Even this term is being thrown around in what we're calling the conscious community. The term, and even the standard when we talk about the first conscious community, and even some of the stuff that send Unc the link. It's in the back chat. One of y'all sent Unc the link. But even with that, you got people in the conscious community talking about the talented 10. And you got some of the people actually demonstrating some of the mandates in the conscious community that was formulated in 1832. And then it was, and I mean, the society, but in the 1860s, you start to see them start to create these institutions from Black ministers and black preachers, right? Some of them were Catholic, some of them was Methodist, and so forth. So the phrase talented 10 originated in 1896 among the white Northern liberals, and specifically the American Baptist Home Missionary Society, a Christian missionary society strongly supported by John D. Rockefeller. They had a goal to establish Black colleges in the South to train Black teachers and elites, right? So, and this is talking about what I'm talking about. That a lot of the American Baptist Home Missionary Societies that we proud and we go into these schools, these HBCUs, they was founded by the American Black Home Missionary Society, by these white missionaries, was to establish these and educate these people coming out of slavery and give them a tool to actually teach and go back into the community and give them this information. And those later on that was privy to go to these institutions and other institutions, their duty was, which is a part of the ideology of the talented 10, was to get your education from these institutions and go back in your community and teach this information, this vital information to the people. Excuse me. They had a goal to establish Black colleges in the South to train teachers and elites. In 1903, W. Du Bois wrote the talented 10. Theodore Roosevelt was the president of the United States, of the industrial was skyrocketing. Du Bois thought it was good time for African Americans to advance their position in society. Even W.E. Du Bois took on this role because going back, if you go back and study again, they took those people, gave them in a Christian background or educated them in Christianity, but they also gave them tools and educated them within the churches so they can go back, and they taught them about what W.E. Du Bois say classical information. So they taught them about history. They taught them about how to write. They taught them about literature. They taught them about all these different things, right? W.E. Du Bois, the talented 10, April 27th. The talented 10 referred to as one of the 10 Black men that have cultivated the ability to become leaders. And again, at this time, everybody, before we get into the civil rights movement and all that stuff in the 50s, and we started to see one leader over a Black organization of a Black community, the talented 10 ideology, they was pushing leaders. The American Home Missionary Society was trying to breed leaders to go back, not one leader, but leaders to go back into the community, right? To go back in the community and teach this higher education. They believe, just like W.E.D. Du Bois believed, that to be educated and become an intellectual and to produce things, then you was doing what you're supposed to be doing by servicing your community, and believe that the Black people can come out of the rut with what they come out of with education, being educated, going back in the community and sharing this information. George Washington Williams, born on October the 16th, 1849, Bedford Springs, PA, US, died August 2, 1891, Blackpool engineer, American engineer, clergy, politician, lawyer, lecturer, a soldier who was the first person to write an objective of scientific research history about Blacks in the United States. George Washington early tried to put together a Black historian society, but hit and missed, and later issue another call for the formation of the Black Historical Society. This brother was also a Christian, and he also, when we start to forming, you start to see the forming of what we call in consciousness. We start calling a conscious community, people coming together, intellectuals coming together, people start to write, people trying to create intellectual societies to go back in their community to create social change, right? So George Washington Williams, he was a historian. He tried to do those things as well, right? But he hit and miss. Like I said, he hit and miss. So George Washington Williams, he made another call out to another Black minister, another Christian, right? Who was also an intellectual, who also championed and pushed the forefront of what we call in the conscious community today, right? Now we get into Alexander Cromwell, was a pioneer African-American minister, Academy of African Nationalism, ordained as an Episcopal priest in the United States. Cromwell went to England in the late 1840s to raise money for his church by the lectures about American slavery. Cromwell started the African American, which became the African Negro Academy. So it was the African Academy. He met with some individuals, 8 individuals starting out he met with, and he come up and wrote these constitutions and presented these things to these individuals, to these highly intellectuals who were trying to do the right thing with their intellectuals and go back, which was one of the mandates that was a part of the American Academy, which also was a part of the home missionary, the American Home Missionary Society, these missionary groups who wanted to help educate these Blacks who was coming out of slavery because the literacy rate was low. And they believed if these individuals got an education that it was bring them out of the detriment, bring the Black community out of the detriment, where they was able to create a better way of life before themselves, producing entrepreneurs, producing teachers, producing leaders, producing exceptional men and women, and etc. Right? So the formation of the African Academy, which Dunbar interjected and came along, and they changed it maybe for a political reason, because Cromwell was already pushing the African standard. And we know he was over there in Liberia at one point in time too. So it changed to the American Negro Academy. So now you start to see these group of intellectuals, these Black Christians who forefronted what we call in the conscious community, right? The American Negro Academy. The American Negro Academy brought together persons of African ancestries from around the world, and was the first society of Blacks that was specialized, promoted the talented 10 ideals. And again, those ideals comes from that American Home Missionary Society. And then W.E. Du Bois took that and popularized that term and that phrase and that ideology and began to, you start to see these historical societies or these Black societies, African societies start to adopt these mandates and try to come up with these goals to push their people out of the detriment that they was in. Right? So the ancestrals from the world and was the first society the Blacks would specialize in promoting totalitarian ideology. And again, even with those, if you look at those models of the historical Black community, historical Black colleges, right? Again, the American Home Missionary Society, they birthed 27 of those institutions, those Black institutions, with the help of those who they taught in the basement. They taught these Black ministers, and then 10 years later, they taught the women the same thing. And you start, that's why I did something about the women, the talented women, and I shared those things about those intellectual women, right? And had this same this ideology, this talented ideology. Organization, the ANN consists of those in the backgrounds of law. These guys started to get degrees in law, medicine, literature, religion, and community activism, because that was the mandates and the goals of a lot of these things. All right. And to be a weapon to secure equality and destroy racism. First, another individual, and I'm almost done because my brother want to go and I don't want to be too long with it, but I just want to glaze now over a few other people. I just wanted to set the stage for the consciousness, how consciousness came in after slavery, and some of the individuals who was in the forefront of this consciousness waves and producing what we call in the conscious community with this information. But these individuals, not like the second conscious community, the first conscious community had standards and mandates and goals and codes of conducts, and that was producing exceptional men and women. Those who were honest, those who were trying to be as accurate as possible, those who wrote literature, those who wrote publication, those who was privy to go to these institutions and then come back home and educate their own people, those who came back and effected social change within their own community, right? So now you got Marcus Garvey. One is another brother who we talk about a lot in the conscious community. There are so many lecturers within the conscious community talking about this brother who was a Christian. He was a Catholic. I think he was a Methodist and then he converted. I think I got that on here as well. But Marcus Messiah Garvey, August 17, 1887, June the 10th, 1940, a West Indies spoke Black nationalist of economic development, was a talented publisher. And again, you keep seeing, you gonna keep hearing with these guys, publishers, authors, journalists, these guys was, because this was one of the mandates, was producing works, right? Journalists, entrepreneurship, and the founder of the Universal Negro Improvement Association and the African Community League, right? He was born in St. Anna Bay, St. Anna, Jamaica, respectively dubbed by this environment as the prophet of Africanism. Garvey is the best remembered as the key proponent of the Back to Africa movement of the social political awakening, encouraging people of African ancestry to strive for authentic and full equality by returning to their ancestral motherland. Garvey viewed himself as a Christian. He had been reared Methodist, but he later converted to Roman Catholicism. So he was a Methodist Christian first, and then he converted to, and I forgot to put the source in here, but I'll go pull the book off the shelf where I got it from out of one of his books. But I'll go get that off the shelf because I want to have these sources on here so people can actually go back to these sources, because I don't want to just be talking and look like I'm making stuff up like the other community do. It became aware of the second conscious community had started hearing the term ATR, African traditional religion. Oh, I became aware. That's right. I'm sorry. I became aware of the second conscious community and started hearing the term ATRs, African Traditional Religion. And there are many books and scholars who have the very term as the title of their books. One of this book is title has also been used or sourced by early and present people who I would be associated or a part of, should have been the second conscious community, right? So I didn't get privy of this term until I started looking at this. I didn't know nothing when I first got it, didn't know nothing about the second conscious community. And I'm telling you that the conscious community that we got now is not the same as the first conscious community that I'm talking about that actually came into existence by these intellectuals who were actually Christians and was actually backed by a Christian missionary society. So I became aware of this term, right? And a lot of people within the community now are still pushing the term African tradition religion, right? One of these books, this title has been used for sources, and I have seen people use these sources of this term as the name of their publications, right? Now, where did the term come from and who popularized this term? This is the man, white brother who actually invented the term, Kofi Piesie, right? This is another reason why I have an issue with this, because we didn't create this, right? But we have people in the conscious community who champion the term African traditional religion, and you have people who I have talked to on the continent who also refer to their traditions as African traditional religion. Because this man right here, he was in Benin. He was in Cote d'Ivoire of the Ivory Coast. He was a missionary, a Christian missionary. And he began to develop and started studying African culture and African tradition. And a lot of Black scholars started to come back, but actually those scholars were these, okay, now this is who popularized it. John Mbiti, Majuba Iba John Mbiti, Majuba Iba John Mbiti. Want to give honor and respects to this Black scholar. And again, this brother here writes, because that was one of the mandates of the first conscious community, right? So John Mbiti, dang, my whole power went off over here. Hold on. God, I hope my laptop didn't die. Let me plug this back up. All right, it must have did. But it's John Mbiti, a proponent of Christian theology, philosopher, and a pastor. Professor John Mbiti generalized the claim the father of Christian theologians in the African traditional religion and the indigenous efforts for the enculturation of the Gospels in the continent. John Mbiti helped debunk entrenched ideals of traditional African religions were primitive, giving them, giving them equality weight. Religions deserve the same respect as Christians, Islam, Judaism, and Buddhism. Now, this radical Kofi Piesie, he was a radical. He was a Christian. He was a missionary. He went in and he traveled to Benin. He traveled to Ivory and stayed there for a while. That's what missionaries do. They travel and try to convert people into Christianity, right? So he began to be fascinated by the cultures and the traditions. So he documented and he wrote, and he was also trying to get past, because again, as we talk about coming out of slavery and the literacy rate was low, they was not even accepting those who wanted to attach themselves to their own tradition. They was calling them paganism, infidel. They was calling them primitive. You know what I'm saying? They didn't even want the word religion associated, which birthed the word African spiritual. I'm actually giving y'all some stuff out of my book. What I'm talking about, why we don't own those, we don't own those names, right? So, but going back into this, so he championed on what Kofi Piesie did, was he popularized, just like W.E.B. Du Bois popularized the term talented 10, and that ideology that a lot of us still talk about within the conscious community, because I learned about this within the conscious community, right? And even I learned about the ATRs within the conscious community, right? So he championed the word African traditional religion. So he took a hold of it and he tried to prove to academia and prove to America that
African traditions need to be recognized in the same way as the religion of Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. So he began to write publications on trying to get people to understand what African traditional religion was. And he wrote several publications. So he championed that. And between him and another individuals, that's why the term even ended up in academia. It ended up in universities, the word African traditional religion, right? Here was another Christian, Boje Aduwu. He was referred to as the preeminent Bolaju within the Nigerian Methodist circle. He was the third indigenous leader of the Methodist Baptist Church in Nigeria from 1972 to 1904. He was the president of the church from 1972 to 1975. And when the leadership title of the church was changed, he became a patron from 1976 until the retirement of 1984. The architecture of the church, 1976. Bolaje, if I'm pronouncing his name right, Aduwu, studied at Wesleyan College, Cambridge. Also, John Mbiti also studied at Cambridge. And a lot of people within the conscious community also reference or sources material coming from out of that institution of Cambridge, and joined the staff of a development of the religious study of the University in Abadan, which Godfrey Parada, who created the term African traditional religion, who traveled to Benin, who also traveled to Cote d'Ivoire of the Ivory Coast. He also became a part of a university in Nigeria where he was over the religious department. And it was his way out. You start to see Bola J start to come in and start to adopt that same thing when we're talking about African traditional religion, the same as John Mbiti, trying to make sure and approve that they can, when you mention the word religion, you have to give African traditional religion, you have to give it that same respect as you give Christianity, Judaism, and Islam. He also became head of the department in 1963 and retired in 1976. He also fought and changed the perspective about African traditional religion. My last slide, I'm gonna let my brother go in. This is a few Christians made contributions to the conscious community and created the very thought of the conscious community. There are more who made a contribution. I could have kept going on and on and on between the 19th and the 20th century, showing you the development of the conscious community that was created by Christians and backed by the Home Missionary Associated Society, who also birthed y'all favorite HBCUs. They birthed these historical Black colleges, 27 of them. And these ministers or these Black Christians and these Black women, they taught them within those white Christian church in the basements before they developed Morehouse and Spelman and all these other historical Black colleges. But you start to see the surge out of slavery consciousness and what we call in the conscious community from the African American society, and then that from the African Americans, the American Negro Academy, and from the American Negro Academy, you start to see, boom, the Independent African Academy, and you start to see a John Henry Clark. You start to see a Dr. Ben. You start to see a Asa Hilliard. You start to see Sheikh Auntie Diak, a Theophila Banger, all these people who was also a part of the development of the conscious community as a part of the American Negro Academy. You see what I'm saying? So the birth of it, and we're trying to demonstrate that even those who we attack these individuals, but because we have disagreements with the ideology, we are attacking the very institutions that we left and running to another institution that was damn near founded by the people that you actually are attacking, which is crazy to me. And again, I'm saying this because a lot of people are misinformed when it comes to the information. They only know about the second conscious community. And that's no standards. You don't have to have sources. You can be a makeup artist. You don't have to produce leaders. You producing scammers. You producing people that trying to line up their own pocket. You producing makeup artists, and you producing people that ain't doing a damn thing. They ain't know since 1995 from the second birth of the conscious community coming in, ain't where the institutions at. These people, the first conscious community that y'all running from or and hating on these people because their perspective is different, man, they was producing things. They was producing things. But I'm gonna leave it like that, man. I'm gonna come back a little bit later, but let me stop sharing my screen, man, and let Chef get it in.
Wow. Yeah, that was, you definitely went in. Now I got to follow that.
You got
they're preaching. Yeah.
Oh, I gotta get out that too, man. I'm tired of people calling me a preacher. It's all good.
You definitely got that preaching you, but you definitely got your point across. And I like how you showed how that first conscious community, those people were heavily ingrained in the Christian tradition.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a lot of them was ministers. Now, I know my part is on Islam, but if you bring that even up to date, you have Christians who actually participated in the early movement of the 90s, right? That were Christian. I think the brother Ishaka Musa Barashango was a Christian minister.
Yep.
He wrote the book African. Hold on, let me see. It was I used to like that book. It was
I'm gonna go pull them off the shelf. I got every last one of his publications. Let me go get it.
He was a beast too, right?
Yeah, I like.
Yeah, he wrote damn.
I'm finna go get them off the shelf.
European Holidays, African Holocaust. I think that's what it, you know what I mean? So yeah, you have Christians that definitely was putting in pain, even after the time that Kofi was just talking about. So and we know that he contributed to the conscious community, because I seen him on lecture tours in the 90s with Dr. Ben and them. So he definitely there was definitely Christians, and even a Christian I think, what's his name, the guy, the bald head guy, Sarnetti even had him on. What's his name? He man, the preacher.
You know, I don't know. I ain't watched that over there in since 17. I don't know.
Hey, what was the preacher name that had to go against Wesley Muhammad?
Preacher.
Yeah, the preacher. And the,
oh, you talking about Damon Richardson?
No, this was back in the day. He converted his church over to some Ashworth Quasi type shit. I mean, excuse me, Ashworth Quasi type.
Oh, you talking about Ray Hagen?
Ray Hagens. Yeah.
You talking about Bobby Hemming? No, yo. Talking about Ray Hagen.
Yeah, so Christians definitely participated, even with the new age conscious community. Like laid the foundation. Well, help lay the foundation, because there's a lot of moving parts to this. All right, so I can start. Let me share my screen. All right. Now, Muslims participated in the early Garvey movement, right? Most of the Muslims that Muslim groups that survived to this day, they actually started in the early 1900s, and they gave a lot of their credit to Marcus Garvey, right, as being a cornerstone of their religious movements, right? The MSTA was, I think, the first one, and they acknowledged Marcus Garvey as the cornerstone of the Moorish Science Temple. Then the Nation of Islam came after them and definitely acknowledged Marcus Garvey as being the cornerstone of the NOI. So, but the Muslims didn't have a big part in this in the early development of that conscious community like the Christians did. And Kofi just went through a whole litany of how the Christians definitely spearheaded the conscious community in its infancy, right? But the Muslims, it wasn't enough of them. So I'm going to pick it up in the 1960s. So let me switch over to this. I'm going to pick it up in the 1960s. And you have, I can start with Malcolm X. Malcolm X is probably one of the most, far as wise the conscious community, is one of the most quoted people in the conscious community. Now that's Malcolm X. Now he was a Muslim. Can't nobody deny that. Even you had mentioned the first conscious community people that they produced, like Sheikh Anta Diop. Sheikh Anta Diop was a Muslim. Most people don't try to acknowledge that fact. He was a Muslim, and him being a Muslim did not stop him, right, from producing great works, right? Him being a Muslim did not get in the way of his science and all of the things that he produced, right? He was a Muslim. He contributed to the conscious community. There's no way around that. Malcolm X was a Muslim. He contributed to the conscious community. You can go even further. Farrakhan, the conscious community, when I first, in the 90s, right? When the Malcolm X movie came out, I remember watching the Phil Donahue show, right? And they had Khalid Muhammad on there. Khalid Muhammad was a Muslim. Wouldn't nobody on here say that Khalid Muhammad was not integral in the building of what we call now the conscious community, right? He was a Muslim. Farrakhan, a Muslim. In the early days, we definitely used to Farrakhan DVDs and his audio cassettes. People used to go get there. This was before the YouTube, right? So you had Khalid Muhammad speeches, you had Malcolm X speeches. These were things that our community was ingrained in. Whether, and you didn't even, Unc, and I know you know this, Unc. Back in the day, if you said anything, right, that was that had some knowledge to it, what was the first thing people would ask you? What, you a Muslim? Right? If you said,
they still do that. They do that to me here. They do that to me here. Yep.
Exactly. If you say, look, if you say, man, I don't eat this, I don't eat that, and I don't eat that, the first thing somebody gonna say, and that's just practicing a good diet, right? The first thing people gonna ask you is, you a Muslim, right? If you say anything back in the day about African history, right? The first thing somebody was gonna ask you, was you a Muslim? So that right there just shows the impact, right, that African-American Muslim traditions then had on the foundation of this current conscious community. And I don't think we acknowledge that enough. Now I can go to, let me get into it. Stokely Carmichael, right? Who later named himself Kwame Ture, right? He was the leader of SNCC. Moved to Ghana because of COINTELPRO. He was a Muslim, right? Nobody would say that Kwame Ture is not a conscious, was not a conscious brother, right? He was a Muslim. We don't hold that against him. I did Khalid Muhammad, right? Don't nobody hold that against him. Don't nobody hold his Islam against him. When you hear him preach, he preaching for all Black people, not just Muslims, right? So, and then you had Farrakhan. I know we didn't beat Farrakhan up on the pseudo killers. Like we got it in for Farrakhan in the Nation of Islam right now because of the pandemic and the different things that they promoting. But in the 90s, you can't say that Farrakhan wasn't the lead or the head of the conscious movement. Like all of the rappers, when you had the self-destruction and all of that, all of these young black hip hop artists, you know, were taking their cue from Minister Louis Farrakhan. After that, he threw the Million Man March. The Million Man March. Was that not a conscious movement? Was that not Farrakhan doing that? You didn't have to be a Muslim to go to the Million Man March. Everybody went to the Million Man March because it was, oh, my screen jumping around. Because it was the conscious movement and we didn't hold Farrakhan's Islam against him. Professor James Smalls is a part of the conscious community right now. Professor James Smalls was an imam, right? His first teaching the black people, he was a Muslim. We don't hold that against him. And the list goes on and on. But you can go ahead, Kofi. I don't want to hold it up. We can open a dialogue up.
Yeah. We can open the dialogue up. But I see we got Concrete Corey and Brother Unc on the panel, man. What's y'all take, man? On
both y'all niggas wrong. Both y'all niggas wrong.
Okay, well, let us. Well, show us where we wrong at. Like, I want you, especially with me, I want you to show me where we wrong at. You know, go ahead.
So, all right, and I want y'all to pull up a new age movement. So it's a lot of moving parts now. The labeling of it was wrong for both of y'all. Y'all labeled something that wasn't even that.
So what right? Was it? What we labeled?
There's only one goddamn conscious community.
No, it's not. No, okay. Hold on. I'm saying it's two conscious. I'm finna let you go in. I'm saying it because when you look at the foundation, like I said, the foundation of consciousness coming in after slavery, these societies that were formed, they had mandates. And these guys went to school. These guys and women produce things. These guys produce institutions, publications. So it was a thing of intellectuals. It was a thing of higher education. They believed higher education was going to bring Black people out of the detriment or raise them out of the situation they was in after coming out of slavery. And the second conscious community don't have no damn codes of conduct. They don't have no damn mandates. They don't have no goals and achievements. I've been in what I'm calling a second conscious community and been following since 2012. It's 2021. You barely got any of the people I've seen with any type of publications, any types of journals, in any types of institutions that they have established. They didn't establish money in their pocket. That's all I done seen. Money in the pocket by scamming and misleading people with information. These guys wasn't makeup artists. The second conscious community is makeup artists. So I'm saying the second conscious community, those things that's going on now did not exist during the foundation of consciousness coming out of slavery. Those are two different things. That's why I'm labeling what we calling right now is the second conscious community. But go ahead.
I know we heard that. We heard your whole thing. We got all your slides down pat. Mm-hmm. So let me dive off my high horse. I was fucking with y'all. I'm simply saying the labeling is totally wrong. Because I know I was there at the start of the conscious community. Look at my screen right there. Look at the screen. You see the screen, right?
Yeah, I'm looking at it. We looking at it.
All right. Read the first couple lines. Go ahead.
New Age movement, a movement that spread through the occult of metaphysics. No, okay.
Hold on. I'm gonna go on and read it, and I'll talk about, because I just talked about all of these. Well, I could have mentioned the David Blair's.
You're mixing it up. Just let me rock, because we all want. I'm gonna show you.
I'm gonna be quiet. You read it. I'm gonna be quiet. I ain't gonna say nothing else. I'm gonna mute out. I'm not gonna say nothing.
No. You good. I'm saying I'm gonna show you how I'm gonna fix it up.
Okay.
You gotta read it because I'm driving down the street, bro. I ain't gonna be driving. Come on, yo.
Yeah. We don't want you up a tree. We don't want you up a tree.
So go ahead. Read.
All right. It says the New Age movement, a movement that spread it through the occult of metaphysics, religion, community in the 1970s and the 80s.
Okay, then hold on. And I am telling you right now that is the conscious community. When you start using that word consciousness, you going to college and all that don't got shit to do with this right here. You don't have to have a college education. You just got to run your damn mouth. Okay? So you're talking about some separate things, and I'll show you, right, that I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm saying there's just this right here. And then black people enter this stage right here. It's the white people shit. Okay? It's the new age movement. Everything the people that are most popular, right? Sometimes you wonder why are we not as popular? Because we've been in the wrong shit. Y'all fucking around with me. I was beating these crazy niggas up. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Like it's a beautiful thing to realize that we supposed to always have our own shit. Now we know. But I'm telling you that the blog talk shows, the Sarnetta, all the tapes was all of this. It was the Bobby Hemmings, like you said. It was the Delva Black. It was the Phil Valentine, right? And by default, right, you would have a Dr. Ben lecture rolling. It was all these fucking tapes, dog. But the foundation wasn't Dr. Ben, wasn't John F. Clark, wasn't Marcus Garvey, wasn't Pan-Africanism, wasn't the New Christian Church. It wasn't that. Because these people right here were anti-religion. But they was anti-religion with mysticism. It was the New Age movement. Which black people dove in, and we got flicked. They called it the Konscious Community. So the Konscious Community is just what it says it is. A bunch of black people following white people. And when I told them that, man, they threw bananas and motherfucking pork skins at me, bro. That's what the Konscious Community is. It's not the level that you was talking about, bro. You were talking about black people trying to reach the level. This shit right here co-opted that. Chef said it right. When Chef was talking about the Nation of Islam, right, that's what we were saying. Oh, yo saying something different than what a Christian was saying. Oh, shit, Malcolm X is saying something different than what, but they wasn't in the New Age shit. The Nation of Islam, and we never get this confused, was just that, the Nation of Islam. The Nation of Islam was going around sticking their nose into everything, but they never was a part of none of that. They was their own cult. And it was masterful how the different leaders would actually call out black people. Like, so who else was they going to talk to? But white people wasn't listening to that shit. But black people fell to that. We was all involved in pushing the cult forward. And we didn't realize that to the middle of a pandemic, and Rob one of them was trying to protect this shit, right? And unknowingly, right? And got on niggas' nerves to the point where we just called a spade a spade. Should have been to that. It was always a goddamn cult. I will debate anybody with that. From day one, it was anti-vax. From day one. But it wasn't the Konscious Community. Okay? So now you talk about the Moors, the mysticism, right? Their leader was actually mixing New Age teachings, the Aquarium gospel. So we're not talking about real Muslims, right? I'm telling you what I'm telling you. We're talking about mystics. So they felt comfortable in the New Age movement with the Aquarian gospels. That's the mysticism. And the Aquarian records. That's the mysticism. Okay? So let me switch this real quick. Let me show you what I'm talking about here. So when you talked about Dr. Ben and them, Dr. Ben and them was doing something different. right? Let me show you what they was doing. All right? They was shut out like I was shut out. Right? They wasn't fucking with them dudes like y'all think they was. Dr. Ben surely wasn't. They had their own thing going. Because remember, yo, they wasn't fucking with religion, yo. John and Ricard wasn't fucking with religion. Dr. Ben wasn't fucking with religion. Right? Here, they was working off of this. John Jackson and them. John Jackson and them. Here we go. Go ahead, read that for me. Let's go. Go ahead.
All right, it says Herbert Henry Harrison, April 27, 1883, December the 7, 1927, was a West Indies American writer, orator, educator, critic, race and class conscious, political activist, and a radical international based in Harlem, New York. He was described by activist A. Philip Randolph as the father of,
Go ahead, keep going.
As the father of Harlem radicalism, and by the
free. So right here is where I get my thing from. Right here. This is totally different. Remember, this guy wrote for who? Who did he write for? He wrote the newspaper for Garvey. He was a historian. But this dude was an atheist, bro. Right? Watch this. Keep going. So you got Hubert Harrison. They called him the Black Socrates. Right? Keep going. Keep reading. So we're in Harlem now. This is totally different from all the shit y'all talking about. We're in Harlem. We're with Strongbird. Right? You can go to New York right now and go to the Strongbird Library. These dudes was fucking with the history. They wasn't fucking with the mysticism because they laughed at the same way I laughed.
But when you mentioned Schomburg, he was a part of what I was talking about. When you get to George Washington Williams, right before you even get to Alice Cromwell, the American Negro Academy, a lot of these guys was writers and historians. Historians. So George Washington Williams, he started a Black Historian Society, and I said he hit and miss, and then he was calling out again. That's when Alex Cromwell took up to call the same thing that some of the same things that we actually. Go ahead. But I'm following you. But that's the same thing what I'm talking about. But go ahead.
You gotta let me. These niggas was a group. They was atheists, yo, for the most part, yo. The Harlem History class. Go to John. You see John Jackson right there, right?
Yeah, I see. Yeah, I'm familiar with all of them. Yeah.
Okay, so you only got for so much space, yo. You only got for so much people that's actually trying to think, yo. Right? I am telling you that Hubert Harris, right? He's the one that actually spawned that thought. Remember, he wasn't dealing with nothing that was spooky. This the dude right here, yo. He inspired people like Malcolm X and all them, yo.
Well, okay, but when you look, okay, but look right here. Look, go ahead.
Who the fuck else was he gonna write a newspaper for? He wrote the newspaper for Garvey. Like it was nowhere to go, dog. Like who we gonna argue at, Kofi?
Right. So you
community, Kofi, but that don't mean we've never been part of the Konscious Community, Kofi. They fucking up, Kofi. I never was in the Konscious Community, but since I was beating up niggas in the Konscious Community, they just felt like, well, y'all all in together. Okay, nigga, but the truth is, I never believed none of that shit. None of the niggas said no time. I was like Dr. Ben. Okay, of course.
Yeah.
African people in general get that away. But at the end of the day, I don't believe none of that shit they think. So I'm trying to see how we can all get clean, yo. We can all get clumped in, but watch this. John Jackson, watch this. Watch this guy. Okay? He was teaching John because go ahead, read that.
It says John Clover Jackson was, April the 1st, 1907, April the 13th, 1993. I'm reading these. I'm glad you got them up here with these dates up here. It was an American Pan-Africanist, a historian, a lecturer, a teacher, and a writer. He promoted the ideal of Afrocentrism, atheism, and Jesus Christ in a comparative methodology.
Okay, what's his early, all right, let's keep going past his early life.
John Jackson.
Career. Hold on.
Okay.
His career. Go to his career. We don't want to do all that. Go to his
All
career.
right.
Go ahead.
From 1993 onward, Jackson became associated with a number of Pan-African historians, activists, and writers, including Herbert Harris, Arturo Alfonso Schomburg, John Henry Clark, Willis Nathaniel Huggins, Joe Augustus Rogers, and Marcus Garvey. He also authored a number of books on African history, promoted Pan-African and Afrocentric views such as Man, God and Civilization, 1972, and the Introduction of African Civilization, 1974, read both of those books. He also became interested in the ideals of Christianity origin and the Egyptian religion. An unapologetic atheist, he authored a number of books and on ideals, including the African origin of Christianity, 1981, and the Christians Before Christ, 1985, as well as writing a foreword for General Massey, lecturer.
Gerald Massey.
Yeah, Gerald Massey. I'm sorry, I said General. Gerald Massey, lecturer, 1974. He also wrote the controversial text, Was Jesus Christ a Negro, 1984, which argued that Jesus may have been a black man. In 1987, Jackson wrote a biography article about Hubert Harris for American Atheist entitled Hubert Harrison, The Black Socrates.
So what I'm telling you is that I promoted them guys. As you go through your development, right, you start to realize that none of that shit make no sense. And so you stuck though. Like, who the fuck you gonna really talk to? Ghostbusters? Like, who's really there to have a conversation about you don't believe none of that? But you still love your people. You still love Africa. But you understand through proper research and reading that these are just general ideas and concepts, which you call religion, which are cultural, social systems. And you realize that. And you realize that all peoples walking on planet Earth have developed social systems. Religion, like, that's not a problem for the atheists, right? And they always come to you with the white boys, like black people cannot not believe, right? So the conscious community, they had nothing to do with that. It was Pan-Africanism. It was just all the stuff you said, but it wasn't when you start talking about consciousness, you're really talking about the conscious community, which was birthed out of the New Age shit, because all the niggas use the New Age writings, the New Age teachers, mysticism, and all that. So there's only one conscious community. So they was doing something else. They was organized. When you say conscious community, bro, like, they're all over the fucking place. If you study the New Age movement, dude, they was all over the place. It's an all over the place thing because it's free thought. It's not only me. I don't mean free thinking. I mean, like, you could just come with anything that sounds good. It's not based in it's based in mysticism. That's the consciousness of the cosmos. It's mixing and jumbling in, and then you might find a there, you might find a Kofi there, and you mix it all up, and later on they go back and say, "Yo, this was this." I'm telling you, no, you got Dr. Ben, John, them dudes was in. They was in an environment, dude. Like, what you gonna really do? Who you gonna talk to? Ain't but so many people. Just like Farrakhan, who is he gonna talk to? For black people, right? But if you really study what they really meant and who they was, Farrakhan was building a nation of Islam. He wasn't building a nation for black people. We don't want to recognize that. Farrakhan and them, they wasn't fucking with Malcolm and my fault. My man in the goddamn civil rights movement, Martin Luther King. They wasn't pushing that, bro. As a matter of fact, it went against their rules and regulations. Like, dude, we as Muslims, we strong, and we're not letting nobody hit us. We exact violence on those who exact violence on us. That's not what Martin Luther King's message was, dude. Just because they hung around, they wasn't at the rally protecting those black people. They wasn't. It's clear.
Hey,
you can't hear me. You can't hear me.
Yeah, we hear you. We hear you. I'm listening. Go, go ahead, Chef.
Hey, so you saying because these guys that Kofi mentioned, right? Because they were Christian, they wasn't a part of the conscious movement.
No, the conscious movement is strictly the New Age movement. You get my point? They was doing something else. They give you the name of what they were saying. They didn't say it was the conscious movement.
So what do you call?
We saying that?
No, listen to me. What do you? Why did you bring up John G. Jackson and them?
Because they was atheists, yo, and they ain't had who else you gonna talk to. You got to think about the time period we in. Like, where the only atheists you got is white people, right?
No, listen, we know that their atheists contributed it, right, to our development. We're showing that it was Christians and Muslims that also contributed also.
Yes, I agree, but not to the conscious. Not the conscious is different. That's what I'm trying to show you. The conscious community is different.
Okay.
And I named the Muslims. So, okay, so whenever you mention the Nation of Islam, understand they're their own separate entity, right? And they're just better at diving into other shit and mining black people. They just better at it, yo. Like, they're good at getting all black people together. But at the end of the day, all they care about is the cult of the Nation of Islam. You feel me? They not like Wesley Muhammad wasn't in the conscious community. He debated niggas in that, but he wasn't in that. He talked shit or he tore it down, right? He wasn't that. So I'm just saying it's complexities in it. It's nuances, but new age shit is new age shit. And with the brothers that Kofi and y'all name, yo, man, these niggas wasn't that. They was organized and what they was doing. Even the Nation of Islam was fucking organized. It was different, yo. They studied. It's different. This shit we got right here, yo, based off New Age movement, yo, is just all over the place, out of control. So it ain't no 1 and 2. It's like, no, it's not. It's not. It's not the two. No.
So what would we label what me and Chefreen is talking about then? Because right
they already named for it. Pan-Africanist. Pan-Africanist is other names for it. They named it.
So
Garvey, what was Garvey considered himself?
Pan-African.
Yeah.
Pan-Africanist. Mm-hmm. What else? What else you got?
Black nationalists.
Black nationalists. What else you got? That's what they was, yo. They was that.
So
civil rights movement.
Yeah. So what you saying? So okay. So what you saying is the standard of what I'm giving or what I'm calling a second conscious community. I mean, where the standard of the conscious community is actually a poor standard, which I was calling the second conscious community. We giving too much credit or academic credit or scholarship credit or methodology credit or honesty information to the conscious community when the conscious community, it wasn't even based on that because I'm basing, because my argument.
You dirtying up their name. Yeah, you dirtying up them great leaders' names, yo, you fucking them up. Like, don't ever put them in the same category. Yo, the conscious community is just that. A group of black people all over the place following crazy white people. It's just that, yo. It's no more, no less. There is not the first and the second. It's black people following the new age movement and putting some flavor to it, dog. What Garvey was doing, yo, they was really, really trying to, do something. What Martin was doing, he was really trying to do something. What Malcolm was doing. And they got the names of what they doing. Malcolm was in the Nation of Islam. Simple as that. Right? He left. He got put out. Martin Luther King, he was black. He was in that. I don't know if he wasn't a black Christian nationalist, right? But you got black Christian nationalists with the Shrine of Black Madonna. That's what they was. You got Pan-Africanists. That's what they was. You got John Jackson. He was an atheist that was voting Pan-Africanists in Afro, what they call it? Damn, I can't even think of this shit. I'm so far removed from that. Afrocentricity. Right? Malaya Shante actually started that, and John B. Clark never agreed to that at all. He's like, we don't wear no afro. They joked this shit. Okay, that's Malaya Shante's speech. But Lord knows, yo, and I don't even believe in Lord, do not call that the conscious community, and do not call it the second. No, it is what record. And so I was trying to let y'all know that the Islam factor that's in the conscious community, right, is that mystic shit with the Moors and them. Their whole shit was that, right? But you got Moors who wasn't doing none of that. That thought that their guy was crazy as hell. So I'm saying it's a hodgepodge. Like at the end of the day, the conscious community grew so big and so popular. Like, where else was you gonna go? Because the regular black people wasn't talking to you, so you had to bring the regular black people into the situation. And then who the fuck was I gonna argue with? It was nobody to argue with but these fools. You can't argue with an African American. You can talk to him about Christianity and move him off the square, and then he'll start looking at you. But he'll see you arguing with other people, and he'll perceive you as being the conscious community. You feel me? But the conscious community is just that, yo. It's the consciousness, cosmology, the whole. No, it's not scientific. It's not that. John Jackson was science. Dr. Ben was science. Right? We do what we do.
Hey, when you gonna stop talking?
You went a whole hour though.
I ain't win shit. I just got on here and listened to you for 45 minutes.
Oh, you ain't listening to me for no damn 45 minutes.
Yes, I have.
All that bullshit. Go ahead, Sean, man. You stay on that bullshit, but I got you.
Let me educate your ass.
No,
let me educate.
You cut me the fuck off.
We heard you. We heard you trying to do.
You ain't hear me finish what I was saying. You just cut it. And
I've been listening to you for 45 minutes.
Yeah, but all right, okay, I got you. I'm gonna cut you off like you cut me off, and watch how the conversation get downgraded to bullshit. Go ahead. I'm gonna do you like
I waited 45 minutes. We listened to you in the chat.
I ain't talking for 45 minutes. Made that shit up.
You've been talking for 45 minutes.
That's a damn lie, man.
You put 3 sources up. You put 3.
For no damn 45 minutes. I think it's 9:14. I know when I started talking. Go ahead, Sean.
The main interest of African scholars in the Western encounter with Africa was concentrated on 2 closely related themes: resistance and nationalism. Various studies have examined the military and diplomatic response to the European scramble for the subsequent conquest of Africa in the late 19th century, as well as anti-colonial movements that ultimately led to independence during the 20th century. Due to this, African heroes, diplomats, politicians, and warriors have received considerable attention, not as powerless colonial subjects, but as creative, innovative agents of their own history. This approach is of great usefulness, if only to critique the motives and the methods of the European expansion and its refusal to allow Africans to remain on the margins of history that the colonial writers created for them. The so-called glory of European imperialism belongs to European history, just as national history right large. Studies of African resistance and nationalism have empowered Africans and turned them into agents of their own history. In keeping with the
cut his own damn self.
Providing the African on European expansion. I'm trying to tell you, my phone's ringing. Hold on, I'm working. But I'm gonna come back to my point.
Yeah, voodoo, nigga.
No, I'm gonna come back to my point and school you on the fact that.
Now you ain't schooling me on that.
Okay.
You fucking in agreements with me. That shit ain't the Constitution.
No. In the 19th century was a movement to do the things that set out. This new age shit that you claiming you're a part of, I don't know why, but you claiming that you're a part of is crazy.
Dude, why you saying you, Sean? You ain't gonna interrupt me and then fuck it all up. Hey, Kofi, man, get him. Get your man, yo.
That's what you came on here arguing.
No,
that is not new. Listen, there's nothing conscious. There's nothing conscious about pseudoscience. You can't call it a conscious community. There's nothing conscious about pseudoscience.
Are you serious right now, yo? Did you get on this bitch to argue with me about some shit?
No, there's nothing conscious about pseudoscience. So there's no. How do you contribute something fake?
Sean, what is wrong with you, Sean?
I'm asking, what does consciousness mean, Unc?
Hey, Kofi, I need some help, Kofi.
No, you don't. Explain to us what consciousness mean. What does consciousness mean?
Man, consciousness has everything to do with the New Age community.
No.
Yes,
what does what does it mean, Unc?
No, man, I'm telling you what it is. You tell me what it means. I'm telling you what is it attributed to. The fucking consciousness. The one consciousness that permeates the cosmos. It's part of the New Age doctrine, yo. When you start talking about consciousness, don't apply that shit to Pan-Africanists and all that shit. You mix it up. That's all I'm saying, bro. Like, I'm agreeing with you that the shit is slap ass stupid, dude. Like, you act like I'm fighting that. I'm saying that what them niggas doing is not considered consciousness. It's considered real work, real information. That's what I'm trying to say. Yo, come on, bro.
I'm gonna say it again. The New Age movement has nothing to do with consciousness.
All right, man. Okay.
You cannot provide fake something and claim that it's you giving it something. You can't give me something that's fake. It's not tangible.
All right, man. I'm not gonna argue with you, man. All I'm gonna do is I'm gonna show my motherfucking stream, yo. You tripping, yo. Like you tripping right now, yo.
All right, let me know when you're done.
No, I'm done, yo. You cut me off just to agree with me. Like I'm not saying you weak.
I'm
not gonna sit there and argue. How you don't agree with me about New Age movement in the conscious community, yo? What are you talking about?
No, I ain't giving the New Age. The New Age movement is the New Age movement. It's a pseudoscience. It's fake. So
man.
you was a part of something fake and calling it consciousness.
All right, man. That's a ridiculous argument at this point, Sean.
All right.
You're ridiculous.
So, can I finish? Can I finish?
Yes, you can, but nobody believes you, though.
All right, thank you. That's fine. You don't have to believe me.
Right. Nobody believes you.
I don't get paid off of what whether people believe me or not.
Right, because you're fixing it up, yo. That's not a term that they was using. Show me in documents they was using that term, yo, and call themselves that. Go see that.
Finish. Can you let me finish?
Yeah, I want to see that, though. I'm going to do you like you do the anti-vaxxers. Show me a source where them people was calling themselves the conscious.
Can you let me finish? Can you let me finish?
Yes, sir. I just wanted to cut you off.
So a few of the gurus are now well known, such as Edward Wilmot Blyden, J.E. Casley Hayford, Kobeni Seki, Alexander Crummell, Africanus Bill Horton, Mensa Sabar, Attar Ahumat. Now, some of y'all don't know these names. Herbert Macaulay, Henry Carr, Carl Randolph, Samuel Johnson, Blaise Dagny, Kojo Tavali, Henu Lamin Segu, Kwame Nkrumah, Nnamdi Azikiwe, Leopold Senghor. Said these are a lot of Africans. Amar Cabral, y'all know him. Lamin Gaye, you should know him anyway. S.M. Malema, Clements Kadeli, and Nelson Mandela. Of course, y'all know them. There's more names to be added to this. This movement was about rejecting colonialism, right?
Liberating Africa. Mm-hmm.
Exactly. And reestablishing Africans' presence, right?
Mm-hmm.
Through education, writing, languages, cultural institutions, political theories, and much more. This is the center stage. Now, I agree when you say this. What they were doing was not, quote unquote, what the conscious community is doing, because it was something more tangible and it was real. But what I'm saying is, quote unquote, the era of the New Age movement, that I wouldn't even consider that being conscious because it's fake.
Sean, that's why it's called the New Age movement, bro, because it's fake. You bugging, yo.
Okay, so let's just leave it at that. Let's just leave it as
right. But
the
who
people that's calling. Go ahead.
No, I'm saying, so we're not saying we supposed to be saying the same thing.
Actually, all saying the same thing.
Right, that's all I was saying. So I'm trying to figure out why you came on here arguing with me. But I'm saying to help.
You said you was a part of the. You said you was a part of the conscious community.
I'm saying that's the only fucking thing that That's the only thing that was there, bro. It was there, and I'm saying that I was at the start of this dumbass shit, but I was always on the
new age.
side fighting these dumbass niggas. That's what
you just was a part of the new age movement.
No, it wasn't. The black people called the conscious community, nigga. You know how we rename shit. That's what I'm trying to tell you, yo.
Man,
the black cipher was new age.
Yeah, but they talking about something totally different. They talking about contributions.
Right.
And I get it. That's why I'm saying that's why I said I agree with everything they say, but the labeling, because you fucking them up. That's what I said. You missed all that, Sean. You don't.
No, I heard you say that. You trying to relabel the people that was actually doing something.
Right. They wasn't calling themselves conscious. The people that was calling themselves conscious was these raggedy niggas over here with the new age shit in the 60s and the 70s.
They created institutions.
Of course they did, but they wasn't connected to these white boys. That's what I'm trying to say, yo.
Okay. Well, to Kofi's point, Kofi is providing you and Chefreen, they're telling you who contributed what. So what you're trying to do is you're trying to draw a line and say that these people didn't contribute.
No, I'm saying these niggas contributed to the well-being of black people. The conscious community just confused the fuck out of people. So please, do not give them niggas that chance. That's what I'm trying to say. It's like an acronym. Like they wasn't calling themselves, yo, we part of the conscious community. They wasn't saying that. And Kofi gave the names. He said it. They was national. They practiced black nationalism. They practiced black Christian nationalism. They practiced Pan-Africanism, right? They studied in the Harlem History Club.
Don't forget Negro. Don't forget Negro today. Or I might be pronouncing it in.
Yep, you got it right. Negro movement. You got that right. They was doing all that shit, but what they wasn't doing was they wasn't practicing consciousness. That's all I'm saying. That's the white people that was fucking around going to that what's that big ass thing where they all smoked weed and took acid and shit in the 60s. What's it called, y'all?
God damn.
Y'all know what it is. That's what that was, yo. Was white people on acid, yo.
Woodstock.
Yeah, nigga, they wasn't.
That's correct, and you gotta, hey, yo, Unc, you gotta also see. This is good point, Black, because that's what I was getting to next. Was the fact that the term Marxism was commonly used amongst them in the 19th century. They always referred back to Marxism.
Yep.
Communist.
Yep. So that was like consciousness though. That was like consciousness though.
Mm-hmm.
You just saying they was aware. They was trying to fight like John V. Clark was doing. You can look up his page, right? He was a part of that for a minute. Hubert Harris was, because they was fucking with the atheists, yo. But it wasn't.
Them being atheists ain't got shit to do with it.
Right.
You keep saying that.
Russia was a whole atheist state, yo. What are you talking about?
Listen. If we talking about black people, right, that were Christian and Muslim that contributed to our knowledge of self and stuff like that, you know what I mean? And what do you? It don't matter if they're Christian, Muslim, or atheist.
I agree. No, you're right. I agree.
Martin Luther King was just as much influential, right, and pivotal as the dude Hubert Harris that you pulled up. Just because he was an atheist don't make him better.
I didn't say that, did I? Did I make that mistake and say that? I just simply said I was trying to give you the titles of what they was. I didn't say he was better or less. I didn't say that.
Yeah, but you
not at all. I didn't.
Wasn't fucking with religion. So it's in contrast to the people that we're trying to acknowledge, the religious people, right, that did it. You know what I mean? We know that it was atheists who put forth, but we saying, yo, it was religious people that contributed also. And we don't get
I agree. I agree.
You know what I mean? Because we're so anti-religious now in 2021. how we be giving it up on these airways. We so anti-religious, right? That we won't even acknowledge that, yo, Christians and Muslims, you know, built the framework. They contributed. Like, that's just real. Now, we anti-religious now. We don't want to deal with none of it now, but we can't act like Malcolm X and Martin Luther King and all of them wasn't putting in pain. You know what I mean? Come on now, that's crazy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but Hubert Harris predate them though, bro. He was an atheist, bro.
Right, but even with that,
Come on, yo.
Well, hold on,
yo.
Hey, but even with that though, that's why I was saying I was glad you were showing the dates. Can y'all hear me?
That's when he was born,
right. So if so even with the dates, right? What you talking about? What I was talking about was some of the individuals and the forming of the first Black Historical Society going into the American Negro Society. It predates some of the stuff that you're talking about. They actually
American Negro Academy.
Yeah, American Negro. They set the foundation for a lot of this stuff. That's what I'm saying. The foundation, the groundwork was set. And a lot of and I thought being conscious was being aware. So when these individuals became aware of certain things through education, their duties was to go back and make the other people aware of what was going on, because they believed through this awareness of consciousness through education, it will uplift the Black race.
Like Booker T. Washington ain't had to sit back and wait for no Hubert Harris or none of them. Like
I wasn't saying that. Nah, y'all not gonna get me to that conversation. That argument shit. That ain't where I was at. Remember, I said I agree with y'all though. I'm saying I remember I disagreed with the labeling of them. That's it. Right. Yeah, I'm not saying it wasn't influential Christians. I wouldn't make that mistake, bro. Like, I know better. I done listened to Raw Born of them niggas forever, yo. Like, I ain't making that mistake, yo. I'm not. I'm simply saying I won't make the mistake and talk about the Konscious Community 1 and the Konscious Community 2. I won't fuck them up like that. I'm not gonna do that one to them. Y'all about to fuck them up. They didn't give birth to them niggas, yo. Them niggas gave birth to themselves following white people. That's my point. There was no Black people influencing them niggas to do what they did. They was reading white people books. I done been to Bobby him in the house. He got thousands of those New Age books. Y'all have never, I guarantee you, none of y'all listening have ever seen that many white people New Age books. I promise you, dog.
We deliberately stayed away from them type people, though.
Huh?
We stayed away from them in this bill. Right? We wasn't even trying to talk about them. Like,
yeah, but y'all use the words though. That's what you brought them in. You use the words.
Okay.
Think about it. I would have never said nothing. If y'all never called them niggas the Konscious Community, if y'all had never said that, I would have shut the fuck up because the information was good.
You should shut the fuck up now,
I'm gonna shut the fuck up. Go ahead, Sean.
Thank you. Shut the fuck up.
No, it's crazy, man.
Me and you both, and let them finish their bill. We gonna shut the fuck up.
All right, we're gonna shut the fuck up. Hey, yeah, that's what I came on to say too, man. Like, next time y'all should do the bill separate and then do it like an after show, because they're gonna take away from the information that y'all put out. You see what I'm saying? When it gets like it was. But hey, I like the bill though. But go ahead, keep rocking. Yeah. Sean, you did that shit, Sean. Sean did that shit because we wasn't no arguing. He lied on me till I talked about damn near an hour. That's the best hour I've seen my whole life. Good God Almighty.
The audience love when you and Sean have y'all back and forth. So, you know, is education and is.
That's my man. That's my man.
So definitely.
I thought we were saying the same shit though. I ain't never thought the Konscious Community was smart.
I think Sean just started hearing you talk, yo. Like that's.
Yeah, that's all it was. He always do that shit.
Hey, but right? No though, like up until this point though, there was never a dispute whether those guys were part of or the foundation to the conscious community, right? So when I speak of becoming conscious myself personally, right, it's about wanting to know more about who I am, wanting to know more about the African spirit. That's when we say, because the conscious community, or what we label the conscious community now, comes out of what we call the woke movement, right? So this is what people start saying. I'm woke, meaning I'm now interested in things of an African perspective, how I came to be who I am on this land, where I fit in this landscape. That's what woke. That whole woke.
You said that backwards. You said that backwards though, Sosa.
Nah, how I say it backwards?
Cause the woke is later, yo.
No, woke is first.
How?
We don't get because
I've never heard that before.
Because back then people were saying I'm woke. Like
they were saying that?
Oh my! See, if you question whether they were saying that, how can you say I'm saying that?
No, I'm asking. I didn't know they called the woke movement, yo. You just put me down with something new. I thought it started with saying I'm woke. It was like, man, I'm woke, bro. When?
Years ago. Like, you know, we started labeling things as Konscious Community, right? So you wouldn't go back and look at Marcus Garvey at the time and expect them to call themselves the Konscious Community because we named them that. You see what I'm saying? We chose those individuals and gave them that name so they wouldn't have that name themselves. You wouldn't see them describe themselves that way because that name was created later. You understand? But we always accepted that as a foundation. Now it can spin off into some pseudoscience, but even back then, along with Garvey, you still had the pseudos and all that stuff still existed. We just give light and shine to the ones that we respect and pave the way. And social media now has a bigger light, so now it shines on the other people also. That's all. But go ahead.
All right, I'll put a source up there. They say woke is a term originating in the United States, which originally meant to be alert to racial prejudice and discrimination beginning in 2010. It came to encompass a broader awareness of social equalities such as sexism and has also been used as shorthand for left-wing ideas invoking identity, politics, social justice, such as the notion of white privilege and slavery reparations for Africa. That's what I thought it was, dog. Like, I ain't know.
So how is that different? How is that different than what I just explained?
Because I was saying it was the African community, yo. That's all I said.
The term was originated in 2000. This is when the term comes about, right? But okay, so when does the Konscious Community start?
Right.
Back in the 2000s.
No, he would say we would label people in the 60s, right, as woke. Right, just because the term, like the same way we use Konscious Community now, but when we look back, right, to the 1920s and whatever, is a community that we would say is conscious also, right?
Right.
That term on them, that's what he's saying. We're moving these terms backwards and forwards in history because where we sit at, we can do that. If we can say that the Harlem History Club was studying African history and stuff, the same things that we're doing, then we're going to use the words the terms that we use now and put that on. You see what I'm saying? That's where we at with it, right? But you gave a history of it, but Sosa is
right
actually
here. All right, okay, so here lies the confusion. So watch this. The phrase "stay woke." That's what Sosa's talking about. Had emerged in African American vernacular English by the 1930s. That's what you're talking about, right?
No.
I just gave you. You just showed it, bro.
It's like you're doing this on.
Yeah, come on, yo.
We trying to agree, and you look.
Man, wait a minute, man. I just want to let y'all niggas know that y'all living history right now. These shows is making history. So I'm saying I don't want nobody to go back and think that it was a movement called the woke movement before right about now. Before 2010. Like, if you start looking it up, you'll say, okay, when did it come into the English vernacular? That, I got you. Okay, like, it's just a technical conversation. So I guess Sean was right. We fucked up the conversation. So I'm gonna shut the fuck up. I'm too technical for that shit. Like, I can't do it.
Because you confusing me, man.
Yeah, before the show. Before this show, if
if I said, yo, when did you become conscious? What would your answer be? You're right. No. When did you become conscious, bro?
When I was when I was fucking with the Nuwabi.
Okay, so you call that consciousness. Then there's definitely a problem with what we're defining. There's a problem with how we're defining consciousness versus how you define it. I don't define my ancient alien experience as being conscious, bro.
Right.
Hell no, I wasn't conscious. I wasn't woke. I was asleep.
Yeah.
Sleepwalker.
Right.
About when he was in a cult. He's saying when he got into the Nuwabianism, he became woke. That's
That's crazy.
Not a whole different perspective than us, yo. You're a whole nother issue. I see your problem now.
Yeah.
I mean, but that's what it was. But hold on, but that's when hip hop became quote unquote conscious, yo. Remember the shit permeated through hip hop with Jay-Z and Jazz on them niggas.
That's when hip hop became new age.
Right, but we don't call this. Come on, man.
No, we need to call it new age. Let's just call it new age.
No, we never called it that. Black people never called it that. They hate you when you say that.
I don't give a damn.
Niggas, they was new age.
It's called new age.
Come on, all right. It's not that. It's called conscious community. It's called them conscious.
I'll just say, before this show, you would never say you became conscious when you became a Nuwabi. That is an oxymoronic statement, and that is best. Like, nobody said that.
You became pseudo when you became a Nuwapian.
No, man, if you ask for the scientific technical term, right? The day I was born, I became conscious, my niggas.
Now you trick a whole.
What are we doing? Whoa. Okay, what are we doing?
This the conversation that went. This was a good. This done went way left, man. Y'all, we done went way left. I know.
I tried to get off here, yo. That's why I came on here.
Hey, you trying to get me off here?
I tried to get him off. Y'all didn't want to listen to me.
Okay, so guess what? I don't know every motherfucking thing. But keep throwing around that word conscious community. And y'all know what the fuck I'm talking about when we say conscious community. Don't do it. Don't do it. Because then I'm going to ask for direct documentation of any of them groups prior to the conscious community talking about they was the conscious community. I'm going to ask for these niggas was heavy in writing, yo. Like, we should be able to find that.
I don't even think of Bobby Hemmett and them when I talk about they don't even, the fact that you go to Bobby Hemmett and them and Watkins, you know, then we looking at it completely wrong. I never read a Nuwapian book. I never sat and watched no Bobby Hemmett. Like, that's not part of my.
So we just gonna dismiss the works. My bad, Chefreen, but we just gonna dismiss the works of like, what was it, W.E.B. Du Bois when he talked about double consciousness?
Right.
We talking consciousness now. And you asked for a source. No. I just wanted to get you out of there real quick. I wanted to get you out of there real quick.
Read the definition for that.
I wanted to get you out of there real quick.
You didn't get me out of there because I know exactly what he was talking about when he read this. You can look it up.
But you said would show me where the consciousness was, all of that and yada yada
No. All right, I'm gonna let you play that. Play that card, yo. That's your big joker, right? I'm gonna show you that.
Nope, that ain't the big joker. That's my ace.
Thank you. You try to act like it.
Keep talking, and I'm gonna hit you with. I'm gonna go to Africa, and I'm gonna pull consciousness up, and I'm gonna pull them using it up way before a conscious community.
So he's saying we was using it, like, so.
They wasn't using it to apply to a group.
Bro.
I know y'all know what I'm talking about right now. Now y'all being funny. They did not apply double consciousness to a group called the double consciousness group. I know y'all know what I'm talking about.
Of course, because that's not how terms work. Like, that's not how it. That of course it have a double consciousness. It doesn't have a double consciousness group, but within the definition of double consciousness, it gives you a parallel of what consciousness is. So it gives you a reference reference points you can look at and see, okay, if there's a double consciousness, then what are the coins? What's heads? What's tails? That's what you get from that definition. You can see a fixation point, a point where you can draw a parallel, bro. That's it.
No, we talking about the naming of a group, yo. We talking about people name that. No, stay with the conversation, yo.
What's a conscious rapper?
A nigga that talk that Cosmos shit.
No.
What was Steve Biko kicking?
He just said Jay-Z was a conscious rapper.
Who?
Say what?
He just said Jay-Z was a conscious rapper.
According to
He's a lot more conscious now in his writing. I think he would tell you that because now he talk about oppression and shit like that.
I think y'all need to sort out a definition of consciousness.
Nobody do that.
Let's do that right now.
Because y'all using different definitions.
Hey,
Steve,
let's gotta do that right now. What was Steve Biko's definition of it?
No.
What was Steve
I'm the
Biko's
only
definition
one.
of black conscious, of African consciousness?
who
Man,
you
you
said?
put the word African consciousness in it.
Steve Biko.
African
No, but he was an influential leader in this whole in this whole shebang, yo.
So we're gonna act like you gonna run the stop sign? Y'all gonna run the stop signs now?
I ain't running no stop sign. No,
never stop
but
at stop.
testimony of Steve
Right.
Biko, black consciousness in South Africa. He got
So
some
we using
beautiful
a
quotes out of that
textbook?
speech, yo.
We using a textbook definition, or we using what black people call conscious?
No, we're using what we call consciousness because the definition is not rooted within the defining word, because we're not using consciousness as a scientific term. You know what I'm saying? We already explained how we.
Yes, you are, Sosa. You're using it
the show. Look at
term, and
Kofi.
I'm not. All y'all on this show right now is using it as a scientific term to be aware. I'm
Kofi, you
using
made
it
a
as
great argument,
term.
Kofi. I liked your argument, Chefreen. I
Kofi
liked your
about to leave y'all
argument.
ass.
Don't listen to Don't listen to
Yeah, don't listen
Y'all
to me.
did good.
Just keep calling on Konscious Community, number
Y'all
one.
did good.
And we
Hey,
got
y'all did
great.
good.
There you go. Y'all did
Y'all
great.
did
Y'all
good.
fucked it up.
The ancestors
it up.
back y'all up. They ain't listening to
I know.
the-
All right. Okay. I'm
They
fine
ain't
with
listening
that.
to this. They ain't listening to this atheist.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Okay.
You're the only one with.
Hey, don't start that.
Stephen Biko in the 1960s called this movement the Black Consciousness Movement. And he was from South Africa.
Or was he woke, or was he talking about the actual consciousness?
Stay woke. Stay woke.
Hey, I'm confused. I'm being real. At this point, I'm confused. I'm confused. I'm confused now, man. It's stuff
Hey,
that
Kofi, we mislabeling. I know what Unc's saying. So let's just be real. What Unc is saying, the people that y'all are talking about, the people that has been mentioned, even some names that I have mentioned, and Chefreen you mentioned, and things of that nature, these were doers, these were thinkers, these were people that were actually moving the people in a different direction. These people are not what we consider today the conscious community. The conscious community is tied at the hip with the New Age movement, which is full of pseudoscience and misinformation and disinformation. He's saying all the people that created institutions, that did all these things we're talking about, they wasn't a part of no silly movement. They were really about that action. So it would be wrong to label them conscious when they exceeded that term. They were builders. They left a foundation for us to pick up from. It is after those people, right? You get the New Age, and now we're reaching back, trying to erase the New Age and reclaim what those people left behind.
Yeah, but listen though, even within that, right, within the conscious community, or what we call a conscious community, right? Because what we're really talking about is a social media conscious community, right? That's different than That's
correct. That's correct.
You don't have to do anything to be seen, or you don't have to put in work to be noticed. You can just make a video right now and everybody see you. So you know what I mean, that's different. But within that YouTube realm of what we start getting the information. Within those same videos, you saw, you get exposed to those John Henry Clark videos, Barashango videos, Sheikh Anthony Jacques, Dr. Ben. All these videos was the heartbeat basically of that YouTube algorithm. So when you tap into those names, bro, that's how I even came across, eventually ran into a SETI. Because of the algorithm, because by searching Dr. Ben and all those lectures, the algorithm sent me to Sarnetta, Moore's
We're gonna have to switch them algorithms.
No, I mean, that's just YouTube once you get into that, because a lot of times Sarnetta might be the one posting the John Henry Clark video. You see what I'm saying? So it's gonna be, since you watch John Henry Clark this, you may also like Sarnetta. You see what I'm saying? So then you watch a Sarnetta show showing the John Henry Clark video, you see other things there. Yeah, I mean, there's other things there, but that same dynamic existed back then, is what I'm saying. It's not like these Delbert Blair just what came about now. They always existed. It's just that when we look back, we don't have a social media to look at them. We look at them through Black History Month. So we're able to filter out the relevant people, versus now there's no filter. Social media is wide open, there's no filter.
Yeah. So what could we give? Okay, then. So, so what you saying? Okay, because you saying because what you saying and what Sean. So it's we are actually the people that we are talking about who set the groundwork, who established these institutions, who established these high standards, who created these institutions and leaders and exceptional men and women. What you saying is we are actually insulting them by saying that they was the first conscious community. So, but how can, I'm gonna ask you something then. So how can we change that? Because people think when you mention the conscious community, like, how can we, okay, so my question is, what can we do to actually stop the people who we saying are becoming conscious or aware, running to the conscious community and running to the places that they need to run to? Because when people start to get exposed to certain type of information and they be like, I ain't rocking with what I was taught, they run directly to the conscious community. Like, this is the place that I need to be, because this is where I'm going to learn about accurate information, sound information. I'm gonna learn about who I am, where I come from, what my ancestors actually contributed, what I supposed to be practicing, whatever they're looking for, they are running toward this community or this social media community. Like, this is the standard. This is where you're supposed to go, because I did the same thing, man, in 2012. I thought that this was the place that's supposed to be, until actually I began to learn. I began to read, and then I began to understand methodology. And the more I began to understand methodology and understand its certain levels when it comes to researching, this stuff here over here started to be trash for me. I'm like, God damn, I done wasted 4 or 5 years literally looking at this stuff. And these people, I'm thinking these people are honest, and they is giving me trash. And you get, because one time I was around here talking about chakras and the third eye, and the damn women can give birth without the damn without sperm, and all this stuff I learned from off of that thing. And that's what I'm saying. And people coming into, you
should have paid attention. You shouldn't have hated me so much back then, Kofi. That's your fault. You shouldn't have hated me. Y'all niggas used to hate me.
I hate you, man. Stop saying that.
Yeah, I'm trying to bring you the niggas like Sean and them, yo. Y'all cuss me out.
Hey,
do tomatoes at me, all y'all niggas.
When you look back then, though.
You too, Sosa. You do tomatoes, too. I ain't forgot. Years ago, nigga. You did all that.
I ain't throwing tomatoes at you. What about what? You tripping. I ain't, like I said, I never even known unscientific was a thing. I thought everybody knew. That's crazy to me. But listen, even back then though, when you look at when YouTube started, right? The elders, they're not scientists, they were computer literate. You understand? So
hold on, what you say? Wait, what you saying?
When our elders were waning, right? When the Dr. Benz were at the end, now the internet is starting to come up, right? those people that were into those studies were latecomers to the whole YouTube experience. You know what I'm saying? They got put out there because other people who knew posted their videos, right? So
there wasn't no YouTube when Dr. Ben was rocking.
Yeah, so we only relied on the people back then to post the video, right? So back then the community is gonna be messed up, right? But in 2010 there wasn't no Amara Squad, there wasn't no Mossi Warrior Clan, there was no Each One Teach One. You know what I'm saying? But now you start to see, now you're seeing the information being put towards the forefront. And you're gonna see more. Now you get the atheist channel, the black, you know what I mean? You get more of the black experience from a more scientific, you get your Dr. Myot and all these other things now. And I think in time will parallel the Sudoism and be more of what you want. And it'll be a beacon where people can actually go.
I agree.
Get solid information.
That was the whole purpose of doing this. Right. It's a whole movement, based around scientific literacy. Simple as that. And you got, it's simple as that. We based around scientific literacy. Yeah, we don't gotta beat up your God unless you try to use your God against us. Then we gotta fight it. But so it's a real, you're gonna have your atheists and you're gonna have, but I'm not trying to remove the Christians and all that. You got scientifically illiterate Christians. Like that ain't the point. What'd you expect? So you're right, so we all got a point. I just don't like clumping them in. So you're right.
Back then, all we really had was like we didn't even know about algorithms. You understand? So all we really had was back then the main beacon was Sinetta. You know what I'm saying? He was a big voice. So anything you type in, the algorithm was going to send you to Sinetta. We weren't even aware that information was being used, was being kind of weaponized against people like that. You know what I'm saying? Because if you type in Black Indian, then YouTube is going to feed you all the pseudo information with Black Indians. You see what I'm saying? It's not even. It wasn't until now we're like, yo, you know what I'm saying? Like you have to do your own. You have to do real research. You can't just follow the internet because the internet is leading you down a path to basically confirmation bias. But we didn't even know that back in 2010, 2012, whenever people came into the community or YouTube in general or the internet in general.
Yeah, I definitely look at it as, it's crazy how we all look at it from a different perspective, right? So the conversation is definitely, because what Kofi was pointing out about the early Christians coming out of the early 1900s, right? That was powerful, right? That's what me and Kofi was calling the conscious community. Now, at that time, it wasn't very many people that was notable that was proclaiming Islam or any type of Islamic tradition. So I had to come further in history up into the 60s, right? When these guys, because Kofi, he got it far as wise the goddamn, in the 1800s and the early 1900s, you know what I mean? Up into the 50s.
Yeah, he put that together.
That's all Christian. Like the Christians did that. Like there's no way around that. But
yeah, but they ignored the atheists. I just want to let y'all know the same way they ignore the atheists now, they ignored them then. Because nobody talks about Hubert Harris writing for the newspaper with Garvey and them. You don't hear that, dog. I swear, yo.
I didn't heard y'all talk about Hubert Harris.
Right, that's y'all, yo. I'm saying.
No, hold on. Half of those guys that Kofi mentioned, heard them before. So cut the crap.
Nah, man, when have you ever heard them talk about Hubert Harris?
No, hold on. Those guys that Kofi mentioned, Kofi, can you put up your slides again? Because I got you ain't never heard of them either, Unc.
No, that's not the point. They weren't the atheists, was they?
No.
I'm trying to say, listen what I'm saying. You don't gotta get frustrated.
No, because you acting like these guys, right? Like we're saying that these Christian guys, right?
I'm not saying that.
Was put on and yet atheists.
No. I'm not saying that. I'm saying they left conveniently left them out though, Chef.
No, we're talking about Christians and Muslims. They supposed to get left out.
Yeah, that would be the point. Yeah.
Okay, but that.
I think he's saying they weren't popularized like these Christians were popularized.
The people that Kofi just put up was not popular.
But a lot of Christians were though.
But
yeah, a lot of Christians were popular, but the people that Kofi mentioned, like Cromwell, all of those that in the talented tent and so on and so forth, they were not popular. They were actually demonized. They were people that people just turned, society really turned their back on because it wasn't just about Jesus Christ. These Christians that was a part of that, they were more about building institutions and moving everybody forward. They literally were trying to exude Pan-Africanism. They were reaching back. They were trying to tie back to Africa. They were doing all of those things. People didn't want to hear them. Their voices wasn't that loud. This is the reason why that we're talking about them, is because they were set aside. They didn't get the proper funding that these other Christian institutions and things of that nature got. They actually lost their ability to stay relevant because they didn't have contributions, or they didn't have people that would fund their needs and their researches and things of that nature. They had to stay afloat, and they couldn't keep what they were trying to build afloat together. As individuals, they still had to take care of their responsibilities. So the American Negro Academy is a great example. The Talented Tenth are a great example of what great minds are and what they stood for, and then was rejected for because of society. So Chefreen is absolutely right. These people were shunned, bro. Like we are right now. The mofos that are like us, that were kicked out the community.
I was probably just talking about how when you learn about Garvey, you don't never learn about the person that actually implemented the historical part to it. That's what I was saying. I never learned about that, yo. I guess y'all have. Well, y'all just heard me talk about it.
But I talked about stuff predating the people that you were talking about. That's why I said they laid the foundation for a lot of these guys that we actually are championing on and still, mentioning their name after they have transitioned.
Flipped it in. I say, with some atheists back, you can't never get an atheist out of that. you gonna always have a nigga that don't believe to push the whole envelope. You just won't know about them, yo.
Yeah,
go ahead, Doko.
The atheist is irrelevant in this conversation.
I know, always that.
No, it's not.
Specifically, this conversation, no. Specifically, because the Christian and Muslim, the conversation is around Christian and Muslim, so you brought up atheism.
I got you. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Yeah,
absolutely.
He just didn't want to leave him out. I understand. He an atheist. He don't want to leave out.
It ain't that. Like, if you take the atheists out of all this shit, what you got?
You still
got bunch of niggas praying to Jesus Christ.
Some bunch of spooky shit.
Spooked out niggas.
yeah, y'all bugging. Y'all
I think everybody was spooky. The atheist was spooky. Everybody was
know. Just because you don't believe in God don't mean you spooky. Even the people that they might not believe in God and still be going to the roof doctor, bro. Like you know what I'm saying? Like still be superstitious. Still walk over crack. Still will walk over crack. Walk under ladder. All that crazy.
And I still think y'all did an excellent job, Chefreen and Kofi.
Yeah, I still don't step on cracks.
See, I
still don't eat pork.
Oh nah, I fuck up some swine.
Yeah, I still spit on the broom when my feet get sweet by the broom. I spit on it.
You know what I'm saying?
I ain't heard spit on it. I ain't heard that. That's a Mississippi one.
Yeah, you spit on you.
This is alive.
Man, I'm telling you, sweep my damn feet. I'm spitting on the broom.
Boy, I done got cussed out many a times for sweeping some females' feet, bro.
I'm bullshitting,
but you married though, Kofi. So why it matter now? You married.
Yeah, I mean, I used to be like that though. I ain't gonna lie. I mean, a lot of those things, man, I was brought up, doing those superstition things. There's a lot of things I don't do it no more, but I definitely, that was one of them. Sweep my feet. I spit on. I forgot what I used to do when I break glass. Something we supposed to do when we break glass. I can't.
If I'm in the barbershop and somebody sweep my feet, I'm spitting on it.
And that's what I used to do. That's how I brought up.
I ain't never heard that one, bro.
Yeah.
I know you ain't supposed to sweep. From what I heard, you ain't supposed to sweep a woman's feet. They ain't gonna get married or some shit.
Oh, I ain't never heard that.
Yeah, I don't know, bro. They be swapping out these superstitions.
Yeah. So you spit on the broom too, Chefreen.
play that. Fuck around.
That's how I brought up, man. But I done let it go. A lot of that stuff I used to do, I done let it go. But I'm telling you, now my wife's still kind of superstitious. She do shit like that.
I see too much wild. Just not be superstitious no more. Like,
yeah, that's shit crazy.
I done seen people get hit by stray bullets, and at certain times you gotta be like, that's nothing but bad luck. Like that person ain't they usually don't come around, right? And the moment they come around, something wild happened to them. I can only attribute that to luck. So, like,
that's still superstitious.
Okay, cool. You know what I mean? Superstitious.
Oh, that nigga got a root put on him.
Yeah, I'm
oh wow.
Old people.
Wow. There you go. Wow.
Look, I got this little African totem thing that I got in Cuba. Lady do Santeria, this African chick gave me this little thing I'm supposed to put behind my door. And that shit's still behind my door. So anybody that come through my door gotta walk past this little voodoo god thing. I mean,
hey, yo, Chef, you still wear your amulets? You know, the Muslims, they were big on amulets.
Nah, I don't wear. I had some shahada beads. It's in my drawer, but I don't.
Yeah, man.
No, that was a good presentation with the Muslims and that. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I just think we just define it. Yeah, when we saying they were aware of the struggle, they were conscious and aware of the struggle that they was in. They were aware of their environment, but yeah, and that's what they claim in the conscious community, but that's not the reality.
Yeah, that's definitely not the reality.
Muslims that was outside of their religion, right?
You said what?
I was showing how Muslims acted outside of their religion.
Oh, okay. Okay. You mean, go ahead.
Walk and chew gum at the same time, right?
Yeah, fact.
They could, you know what I mean, chew gum and walk at the same time.
Facts.
You know what I mean? Like, you had to be hard pressed. You can listen to some of his speeches and wouldn't even know he was a Muslim.
Who are you talking about, Malcolm?
No, Khalid Muhammad.
Oh.
You can listen to some of his lectures and not even know he was a Muslim. You know what I mean? Until he said it.
You know what I think we realized? You know what I think we realized though? We realized that you almost like what I want to say, like, what do you call a person? Shit. Huh? Nah. It's like,
Kwame Ture, Stokely Carmichael. You wouldn't have known he was a Muslim until he said,
yeah, I'm trying to.
John,
it's like they hypocrites though. Yeah,
was Diop a hypocrite?
Yeah. We all was. We all been that.
Muslim.
And let me tell you why. You would literally fight for the rights of Black people, right? And talk shit, but then you would practice a foreign religion, which is the scope of your thought process. Like they couldn't get past that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that's our role to get, because that's like the last piece in the prog, yo. Like we just want to, if nothing else, we could at least start over again and make some new shit up. You get what I'm saying? Like they never reached, like Malcolm, he never got, like, you know what I'm saying? Like they never got a chance to get there, yo. I think they would have got there, yo. Like you can't keep hollering out Islam and then not study Arab history. Like, at a certain point, you start lying to yourself about the shit. So I'm saying, like, if you're not practicing African spirituality, right? I'm just making a point, right? But yet you talk about the Christians like you doing the same shit. Like, if you want to talk that African shit, then let me see your motherfucking, let me see your sacrifices. Let me see that.
No, but it's African Muslims and Christians. Aren't they just as African as the
other? He's saying that's not their traditional religions.
Yeah, it's not they just as crazy too, nigga. Like that, won't nobody give it up? Like, nigga, that's why you don't got your shit.
Right, but even with that though, with the people I'm talking about, they didn't push their religion on the people.
I know.
Yeah, I did not even. I wasn't aware that the Sheikh at his jaw was a Muslim till way.
He was a Muslim.
Yeah, I didn't know that till way later on because that wasn't really. That wasn't.
Couldn't have read his book. Then.
I'm talking about with this Sheikh at his jaw. That really wasn't the full focus of his work.
Right.
Man, you read his book, nigga. Your man will hit you in the head with that shit. To show you what he started saying that the Africans was dumb. Until Islam came there.
He
said he was dumb.
Yeah, he romanticized for Islam.
Yeah, he said he was stupid till the Muslims got there. Yo, hit you with that. So, I mean, I'm just saying, we start to realize that. I'm just making a point here. I'm not saying we're going to be able to get around it. I'm just saying, like it would seem to me that niggas would just create a new reality for their motherfucking selves. It would just seem to me, instead of talking shit. Like the conscious community, is they super hypocritical. They talk shit about Muslim Christians and all that shit, but they more spooked out than the Christians is.
Yeah, they is. Yeah.
It's backwards. I'd rather be a Christian, yo.
So hold on. So Diop, you saying Diop talk shit about traditional?
Yep. Yeah,
now,
he said it made them backwards.
Some of those traditions, we talked about that though,
Yeah, you
I know, yo, but I agree. But I'm just
shit for Islam.
Yeah, but I'm just making a point though. I get your point. Go ahead.
Read Chinua Achebe. He wrote a book called Things Fall Apart, and he talked about before Christianity got to his village, he talked about all of the backwards things that they used to do and how the Christian missionaries, right, have fixed, you know what I mean? Like they would take, if you had twins, right, they would take both of the twins and throw them in the bushes for the wild animals to eat because they thought it was a bad omen. Like shit like that. So the Christians came and told them, nah, that's not, you know what I mean, the case. So in their traditional religion, that's what they was doing. The Christian in the Christian religion, they didn't have that type shit. So
and other shit.
Right.
Their own issue.
Come on. Everybody got their own shit.
In every religion, it's gonna be everybody has their own. Everybody has their own mores. They have their own way they view other people. And way they view their own.
But I think that's the point, though. It's the good and the bad, the mixing and the matching of different cultures that come in contact and say, you can't do that. And the other one look at the other one, you can't do that. It's that borrowing and eliminating and that makes.
I agree, but like at the same time, they look at them people that didn't have no clothes on and they called them savages. They made them uncivilized because they had no clothes. That's what
that's wrong, right? Yep. That's all I'm saying.
Was Diop wrong? That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, the nigga was wrong. Yo, get the fuck out of here, Diop, nigga. We ain't need you to make that statement. Yeah, nigga, with the white. We ain't need you to say
can't make a statement like who can make a statement?
If it's an accurate statement, and he's an African.
Like,
so,
because it's not true. No, you don't have to make that statement. A person's not backwards.
Right there.
Thank you.
That's African American shit right there.
What?
They could tell an African.
You can't tell me I'm naked, yo. No, you can't tell me I'm naked. Because I'm not naked, nigga. This is how we dress. This is what we do. I'm not naked, nigga. I'm only naked to you, nigga, because you wear clothes. That don't mean you right, nigga. I'm not at your house. That's the point I'm trying to make, Chef.
You are
that shit was wrong.
Listen,
you're not naked, nigga.
You are naked. That's what.
No, you're not. No, you're not. You're not backwards for it.
You had to look. Go ahead, Chase. You finna say what I'm finna say.
In the environment where they're at, that's normal. That's their norm to be naked. It's no problem. But when you got someone else that comes from a whole different, you know what I'm saying, worldview, they looking at that, what's wrong with you? Why are you running around like that? You need to put some clothes on.
Right, and coming from a different geographical location. You got to look at the location too, why they are doing what they're doing. People and cultures do certain things according to the geographical location that they are. So when you see them walking around and they damn near half naked or whatever, you have to understand certain places in Africa, it's hot as fire over
It's
there.
hot. Why you got on all them clothes? Nigga,
Right.
you sweating, nigga.
Right, and we do the same thing right now. We gonna come out if our body looking right and it's hot, we coming up out of our shirts. Man, we putting on shorts.
That's what I'm saying. Actually, when you saying like it is accurate, it like depends on whose perception you're looking through.
That's all I'm saying, yo.
It's accurate because it's accurate because it's subjective to the person. That's why it's accurate. You know what I'm saying? From their point of view, you are naked.
Yeah, you're naked. Are you a savage?
Nah, that's a different. That's a different concept.
There's documentation, and I'm saying there's historical documentation of Islamic and Christianity making those type of comments toward Africans. Like this is in, you know what I'm saying, Spirits of the Mossi Volume 1. You know what I'm saying? Kofi go in on that.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, we agree with that. We know that they made derogatory statements.
How about enslaving a motherfucker? Is that not savagery?
No,
cut the nigga foot off.
Slavery was the
foot off, yo.
norm. Slavery was just the norm. Like we got to get off that. Like we got to just. It is.
I will argue y'all niggas down about that. Y'all know what the hell y'all talking about. Yo.
What you mean by it was
that
the norm?
When you're
going back into a time frame when slavery was
and Chefreen. Y'all know what the hell y'all talking about when it comes to slavery. Y'all wrong.
When you're going back into the time frame when slavery was a cultural norm.
Right. So slavery. That's not right. That's not accurate. That's not correct.
I know it ain't. They wrong.
At what point?
Because you can look
let them talk.
Go ahead.
Let them talk.
Let them
get it all out.
Go in. Tell me when was. I mean, outside of hunter-gatherer groups, right? Because they didn't have slavery. They didn't shun your ass. You just get excommunicated, which is death. Show me when slavery wasn't global.
Created pseudo killers.
Show me when slavery wasn't global. We'll just do that for me.
No, we can do that. You
set
can
the
just
pseudo killer show up.
Yeah, set that up. Yeah. So we'll mess this one up.
Y'all gonna extend the hell out of this video. We get into slavery.
We weren't even. I want. I know Chef was saying he wanted to go live on a pseudo killer. So we done went. I know, man. We done been on we've been on about 3 hours or so, and I be trying to make these videos an hour and a half, man. So I cut it off. Cause they scared.
Y'all let Unc on the panel. Y'all let Unc on the panel. Y'all left Unc off the motherfucker. I wouldn't be here, and Sosa wouldn't be here if y'all wouldn't have let Unc on the panel. I'm telling you leave Unc off the panel, Chefreen and Kofi, y'all show would have been excellent. Y'all added this food, and the food retained behind this food. So that's really all I want to say.
Wow. After show, that should do the presentation.
I'm saying we all fools because we let you on, and I got on, and Sosa got on. So all us the
y'all blaming me.
Chefreen and Kofi was on point. They stuck to the subject.
Yeah, they was rocking.
Nah, they was all right till they stopped mixing it up.
See, they was all right.
I don't care what y'all say, yo. Everything they said was right until they threw them words, yo. Because you got people right now who don't never heard of nothing.
Quiet. Kofi and Chefreen, rep y'all show up. Don't mute ass. Matter of fact, kick him off.
No, don't kick him off, man. He good, man. He good, man. But I mean, I
set up the pseudo killer, Chef. Set it up, Chef.
But I proved my point. I stuck to what we talked about. Chef did an excellent job. I hope some people learn. Learn from the information that me and Chefreen, presented, man. So I appreciate everybody that, tuned in and support, man. And I mean, that's it, Chef. You got something, man, you want to say?
No, I appreciate it. It was a good bill. Even I want a couple of your slides. I know you can send me a couple of them.
Yeah, I'm sending you the whole thing, man. I'll send you the whole thing. It wasn't, but I think about 11 slides or something like that. So I'll email them to you.
All right. And definitely, he definitely added a wrinkle to it that, that definitely was supposed to be discussed because it would confuse people if they look at the modern day stuff that's on YouTube and lumping them in with the people that me and Kofi was mentioning. It is a disconnect there. So Definitely, but great show. We're gonna do an after show on the pseudo killers, and we're gonna talk about slavery in Africa because man, Unc been arguing about that over the weekend actually. So that's crazy.
Yeah.
For real?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Yeah,
Let's
nigga.
do it.
Yeah, y'all niggas, y'all crazy, yo. Y'all got it fucked up.
I said, hey, Kofi, join the show, bro.
Yeah, I'm gonna join, but I ain't finna be on there all night with y'all, man. Y'all like to go to early. I got stuff I gotta do, but I'm gonna definitely jump in there, man. But I ain't gonna be hanging out with y'all for a while.
Don't be hiding in the comment section, man. Jump on the panel, man. Get it in, bro.
Yo, don't let them. Yeah, we cannot.
Available, man.
Yeah.
Throw the link out there. I don't be
throw the link in there. We do.
Man, Sutek be stepping on Sutek and see the link and step right over. Like he ain't even see it.
Yeah, because y'all be talking about some y'all be talking about some shit that I don't be talking about.
I know we about to talk.
I bet y'all we talking about. I need y'all back now because Chef and them got us being slavers for real, yo. I done heard it, yo. They got us slaving, nigga. Like we earned it. We earned it.
Yeah. Well, sure, man. On that note, man, I said ETM Hotel in the beginning, which means bring for a peace. So now I'm gonna say Shimim Hotel, which means to depart in peace, man. Peace and Black African power. I'm gonna leave y'all with one of my. I thought I was gonna be able to play some of this other music that somebody sent me, but I wasn't able to. They should have sent an email. But man, y'all got some good music, man. Some good music, man. That got some substance to it, man. Send it to me and I'll play it. I got some tons of stuff though. I'm gonna play from people. Just gotta load it up on the machine, man. But I'll leave y'all with Fortune Believe, man. Go and get his EP, man. Fireproof. It's on all streaming platforms, man. Go get that, man. Y'all transition over to the Pseudo Killers. It's gonna be another great build over there again. Appreciate y'all, man, for tuning in, man. I'm gonna leave y'all with my boy, song Fireproof, man, and we out of here, man. Peace.
Serving fireproof style. 1, 2, 3. This shit here for my niggas up east. Ghosting police in the red corniche. This right here for my vets out west. Rockin' Rolex, live life, no stress. This for my niggas with cloud down south. Cats that peel out and shorties that drill out. This right here for the courts up north. Keeping the black brown handcuffed up. Fireproof is the name-o. Dishing out ammo. Cannibal in the bando. Gripping the pearl handle. My shit go pop like fresh shrimp and Crisco. Broke my wrist scraping the pennies to make nickels. Damn quarter, Chicago's the crab quarter for evil. Still, I got the wheel on my vision like Ezekiel. I'm a skeet, barbecue garbage crews. My melon is shad. I ram tight as the pussy and the mosquito. I play too much. I say shit you don't say too much. Nigga, pants below the waist too much. Land on they dick like they chicks 8 and plus, but hoes looking like apes in the face too much. I'm lyrically set apart, hip hop pedagogue. Wet a hog, gotta spite and recite the Jewish Decalogue. Political demagogue with true political views. Like Republican and Democrats, similar dudes, they fight and cite similar rules. Trayvon got shot by a similar brute to me and you. Don't forget about the niggas you shoot or what you bast in, and guess that make you innocent too. My link card don't start till after. On the 3rd, till being I eat animal crackers. On the curb, I got more rams than Jesse Jackson. This shit is flat like Bessie Coleman. You better leave me, Macaulay Culkin, before I Hulk Hogan. Your V-neck, I murder a T-Rex. The study is reflexes, hype on the V-Tech. Cause the Dale went out, it's going down like a ship when the sail went out. I think I rammed dope, now I'ma have to sling this shit. You niggas never flash, see you on your penguin shit. Who the flame retarded MC be? Me, John Avarice, the lyricist doused in kerosene. This shit here for my niggas up east. Ghosting police in the red corniche. This right here for my vets out west. Rockin' Rolex, live life, no stress. This for my niggas with cloud down south. Cats that peel out and shorties that drill out. This right here for the courts up north. Keeping the black brown handcuffed, of course. I wallow in witch hazel, handle a switchblade and spin you a sick fable. Hand you some lemonade and render you disabled. Apply for public aid, I spent it all on cable. Tell you hasta luego, nigga. I can rip a rapper. I mean for real, like a snicker rapper. Spread his limbs round like chitter chatter. On the mic, I'm the fickle matter. Hell, I even hiked the mountain with a ladder. It's the broke nigga rapper. Hey, where my bros at? Yo, what them independent women with class, but really Project Hoes at. With the nerve to ask Gotti, yeah, bro, who that? Same type of nigga you would treat like doormats. It's Malcolm X with braids. Break your jaw with the mic, then force you to play charades. Masquerade on the couch, recite the alphabet with a razor blade in your mouth. Cut off one of your ears and ask you to hit me out. Nigga, all my bitches cheated on me, so why should I be monogamous when I can just put hollow tips in parts that make them erogenous? The 4th, 5th, and porn flicks got me convinced that it's more fish. Me forfeit, I'd rather gorge on horse dick with a whole board to my torso from face fucking a swordfish. Gorgeous with a mic, I'm Jordan. When I write, I'm Lord and all hail. I lift barbells, 2 reps till my arms fail. I approve, nigga. No wonder why my songs fail. I'm too cool for school. I got kicked out of Half Park trading textbooks for food. It's the A to the VA, R to the ICE. I love listening to LEP. I love Chinese water torture in the tub with ICE. It's middle finger to the CPD. And this shit here for my niggas up east. Ghosting police in the red Corniche. This right here for my vets out west. Rockin' Rolex, live life, no stress. This for my niggas with clout down south. Cats that peel out and shorties that drill out. This right here for the courts up north. Keep the black brown hair cuffed, of course. 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 Y'all niggas know what it is. Yeah. Woo. Yeah.
Yeah.